Pussy? I mean, fuck, there's worse places to live, I suppose.
You would, you dirty fucking butt chuckler.
The Chuggle Shack.
Well, thank you for at least getting the terminology correct this time.
It's important.
I respect your fetishes, even if I don't agree with them, and I think you'll burn in hell.
No kink shaming unless that's your thing, in which case you're a naughty, naughty boy. So, are we going to attempt a structure?
Sure. Let the people that you want to let know that we're going live.
I know 2 people in real life.
Okay.
Because you guys don't count.
Okay.
I have already texted them. Josh, do you know anybody?
Yeah, sure.
Watch Josh just text the president.
Whoa.
He
Which
answers
one,
the phone. Hello.
You know which one.
Have you guys seen that? The Joe Biden, hello. It's fantastic.
That's a good question. Who would I call on the line?
Kona, even with as little
Ghostbusters.
as I know about you,
Burn it.
I would totally make you a lifeline.
Lifeline's a good character. She can res you without being next to you. Drops a little heal bot, calls in care packages.
And says Mozambique here.
Well, that's
who does
the
it?
other fucking guy.
They all say it.
Mozambique, yeah.
Now you're just being stereotypical. You're like, I'm gonna choose the Pacific Islander looking guy. I see how it is.
That's whatever, dude.
Bum, 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 bum.
Kona, if you had to proudly and confidently say an area of expertise that you are versed in, what would it be?
I feel like it's obscure game knowledge when he pulled that like vintage
Oh my God,
game
yeah,
title
dude.
he's been struggling with for like 20 years out of his butt.
Was that me or Andy?
That was you.
I don't remember anything. What was this?
We're shocked.
I don't remember
I
what
know
the game
2
was.
people, and I don't remember anything.
Yeah, I don't remember what the game is either. I just remember you're talking about how there's a game that has been in like the back of your head for years, and you've tried multiple ways of like researching what it was. And then in like 5 seconds, Kona was like, "Was it this?"
Yeah.
And you're like, you lost your fucking mind.
Well, I've already forgotten again what it was.
I did too,
If you still
to be
remember,
fair.
Kona.
That's the
Fucking
secret.
Nick's Mind Blowers, season
Yeah.
2.
Nick's actually figured out the answer to that multiple times. He just then immediately forgets it again.
Yeah. It's like the Primer. Was that the movie? He had to write himself notes or whatever.
Memento.
Memento.
He'd write it or tattoo it on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie.
Time loop. Time is like a weird soup. I heard that quote the other day
Time soup.
on a D&D podcast.
Now with more vitamin K.
K for
Ketamine?
Kronos.
Yeah, for ketamine.
Okay, yeah.
Not
That tracks.
Kronos got a
That fucking
time?
tracks.
There was a tie there. He just goes straight to drugs.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you think it's K. I
I've
think
always
it's
had a
ketamine.
healthy, say maybe to drugs attitude, despite what I went through in Dare.
I think we have Dare to thank for our say maybe attitude.
Well,
They
you know,
really made it seem pretty fun to do drugs.
yeah, that was supposed to make me cooler. And I was supposed to get offered more drugs. I was never offered enough drugs, I felt like.
To this day, I have not been offered an adequate amount of drugs.
Thanks, Dare.
Yeah.
Well, would you like some drugs?
Thanks, Nancy Reagan.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nancy
frosty
Reagan,
bitch.
seems like a good random time to point it out. Someone is making a mod for the original Doom where you kill Margaret Thatcher. And they have completely remade Doom as like the 10th circle of hell, also known as Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And it's all like British themed. And at the end, you fight Margaret Thatcher, and it's coming out in 2 weeks. And I'm going to play it. It's going to be a blast. They have like a Doom style remake of the album. What?
We're not podcasting yet, so maybe hold on to
You
that.
said we were podcasting.
I thought we were podcasting this entire time.
No, we're not. No, we're not podcasting.
We're freestyle.
Yeah. What? Okay. We need to get back in this rhythm. We need to get back in this rhythm, man. Nah, man, we got to have the silence before the podcast starts and all that shit.
I
Yeah,
thought we'd,
remember a full
gotten
minute.
through that with the technology advancements.
God,
We
I
don't-
wish. I wish.
It's been a whole year.
Yeah, we need a
No, yeah, I've got to get noise floor and all that stuff. That's still
full
gotta
bit-
still gotta
full
be a
bit of
thing.
silence.
Is that the opposite of the glass ceiling?
Yes.
The noise
The
floor.
noise floor.
Yeah.
Take it.
And yeah, get your vaping in now. Don't do that in people's ears.
Can I vape if I like lean away from the speaker stick?
Can I bet $18 Josh was going to forget? And
Okay,
do it anyways?
rude. Like, and what a weirdly specific amount. Why $18?
Because I'm poor. That's nearing the cap of
okay,
how
I'm
much
sorry.
money I have.
I mean,
left.
you wouldn't be as crazy to think that you'd get $20 for that. I mean, he's a reasonable man.
That's fair. I guess.
And I'd say no, let's not vape for the audio portion.
Yeah, that's a little loud. Josh likes to vape over Discord. Oh,
What the fuck was that shit, Hobie? What are you doing to me?
So you know, everything I can fucking think of. I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna do everything.
chuckles and chuckles alike.
I'm making a list and sorting it by noun, verb, noun.
Making a list.
No, I'd
and
sort it
chugging
by
it,
the
chugging
level
it
of
twice.
energy expended. So we start off chucklings at the top.
You know, if you chuggle
Chuggling's at the
something,
bottom.
if you chuggle something
It's a noise
hard
floor.
enough, you can chuckle it out the other end.
Whoa. I don't know if I'm prepared to chuckle or chuckle.
You're not ready. You're not ready.
I'll keep practicing.
It's on my Southwestern shame wheel.
Did we just reinvent?
What?
You're not ready.
Jesus. I'm gonna make that for you now. Gonna make you like a roulette or fucking.
I don't think anyone's ready.
I'll leave everything blank. You fill them in. I'm just gonna make you a fucking spinning wheel that you can call your Southwest shame wheel.
You know,
Appreciate that.
Josh's every once in a while true laugh, the rising clown klaxon, like
What the shit?
that thing you do. Right?
That's just-
When the wheel spins, instead of each click, it needs to be one of his chuggles.
Holy shit.
I'm
dude.
a little offended.
I love you. I love you so much. It's a good thing. It's what makes you unique. You're like a Bob Ross painting.
Man, I haven't.
Such happy trees.
Oh man, did you guys see that fucking
think I
Bob
broke
Ross thing that fucking Cage and Jack Black did?
I didn't. What did
Yeah,
you say?
you got to pause for a second. We need a reframe here. Chroma key, noise floor.
It's been years since I've actually laughed. So
It's been a long time since I've heard you do that because you're ashamed of it, and you
I have
need
to like well,
to kill
something
your
has to
ego
be-
and let it happen.
Something has to be really funny for me to laugh like that.
I know it's so
Rising
funny.
clown klaxon.
It's such an amazing sound that half the time I remember it. The original joke is lost to my memory. It's just the sound of you doing that I think, oh man, that was so funny. Because Josh's noises are just amazing.
It's true. I do make a lot of noises. Some of them unique.
Oh my goodness.
Are you gonna make it, homie?
Yeah. No, it actually sparked memory. Like I used to have just a ludicrous laugh. Like if I when I get tickled really badly.
It's a weird, like proxy, goofy kind of.
Oh yeah, super goofy laugh and stuff. And I've worked so hard for so long to suppress that I think I actually killed like a part of my
just
inner
gone.
child.
Yeah.
Like it's just it got sacrificed at the altar of embarrassment.
Yeah, we all have that thing that we
Thanks,
spent
high school.
a decade trying to destroy.
Well, now it's like realize when I lose my shit and I'm laughing so hard and stuff, I just try to like be as quiet as possible. Laughing.
Just over there shuddering.
Yeah. I blame my older brothers, by the way, because they knew the secret of the Russ laugh and would bust that out on like a regular.
That's just a power thing.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's mostly what being an older sibling is about. Is
Yeah.
about power.
100%.
I wouldn't know. I was the youngest.
Do we want to noise floor it?
Gonna bring your mom to the fucking noise floor. Boom.
She's gonna have a panic attack.
I'm sorry.
She's way too old
Yeah,
for the
no,
noise
I know.
floor, dude.
I
She's
just,
gonna have no idea what's going on.
You're just gonna feel bad afterwards.
oh, poor Ginger.
Hello,
I'm
Knight.
sorry. I'm sorry for bringing you to the noise floor.
I'm sure she'd have a fun time, if even because she didn't know what was involved. She's just glad to be there.
That's going on the wheel.
The noise
The
floor.
noise floor.
It's a macabre dance club.
Take your mom to the
Naughty
noise floor.
Knigget. Naughty Knigget.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I had a thought today trying to think of the "Hi, I'm Nick" and XYZ quote, and I couldn't get out of my head that all 16-year-olds should be given halberds for their birthday. And I felt it was really important. It's like, there's got to be a good reason to give everyone a halberd. I'm like, well, the gun crime's going to go down, because I don't know if you've ever wielded a polearm, but that feeling of power is immense. It's one thing to have a gun, but have a physical stick that you can just destroy things with that are 15 feet away. Kind of amazing.
I semi-recently bought a 6-year-old a bow and arrow because I felt it was the right time for a young man to have a weapon.
Yeah. You gotta learn.
I think more importantly, you enjoyed the thought of his parents freaking out at the thought of
it
him
was
having
great.
a
It was
Yeah.
great. A lot of people at the park were concerned too. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It's hot in here.
It is hot in here.
It's almost
sorry
like,
guys.
Yeah, it's those nipples. Can you calm them? Is there a dial?
No, that's how do you think
It's a-
Babby
Can
got on
I
the
can
fucking,
I turn it? No.
How do you
no.
think Babby got on there? Ran
You
into
can
my
turn
nips.
them, but every direction's up.
Look at the spin on this particle. Baby, you got me quantumly entangled.
All right, hurry up. I want to talk about pee balls.
All right.
What the fuck is
I'm so
P-ball?
excited.
I'm going to read you. You got spies in your court.
You always have spies in my court. You cheating kibitzer.
Silence.
Are we on the noise floor?
We're going there. I'm taking you to the noise floor. All right, remember,
The noise floor is silent.
no sounds, including mouth noises. Don't.
Okay, I was fine until you said no sounds.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm going to try not to Henselman it here.
I'll give us a quick intro and then we're good, okay?
Was that the intro?
No. They thought we'd never be back. But here we are. What's up, guys?
Dun, dun, dun. Hello.
Back.
Welcome back to Video Game Tango.
It's been a minute.
Yep. They tried to bring sexy back and got us instead.
Yeah, it's sad, but you know, we were voting for sexy, but what are you gonna do?
I will always vote for some more.
Little
kids I
did you
like.
know the pandemic was harder on me, Andrew Henselman, than on anybody else.
Yeah, you're looking a little haggard there.
Yeah, no, I know.
Jesus.
I know.
Mysteries of the Vortex.
Did anybody crunch numbers? How long has it been?
It's
3
been since
days.
March 28th.
Can you put that in terms of Fortnite
17 chicken dinners ago.
or one really good dance
At the noise floor?
at the noise floor?
That needs to be a bar now.
I feel like Fortnite's like the Disney of
I meant
video
like the
games.
2 weeks time thing, not
Fortnite.
the game, but since we're talking about video games.
I think we all immediately went to the video game.
I know
so
that was misleading, and I apologize.
It was.
Speaking of video games, we have some of that to talk about today.
We got some news.
Couple things to catch up on, what we've been not doing during the pandemic as much as what we've been doing, some gear grinding,
All sorts of things.
and the thing I'm most excited about, P-balls.
P-balls.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
He's been
and
chomping at the bit.
I need to know.
Well,
He's ready.
I need to know. That's really the
Oh.
question.
Okay.
So, and it's been bugging me since I thought of it. When you go to the bathroom,
Is the pee stored in the balls? We've
Yes.
all asked this question.
I don't know. I feel like if I squeeze them, more pee comes out. So, no, that's not
Science says yes.
when you are standing at a urinal and you're peeing,
Mhm.
do you remove your entire package, or do you just pull out your ween?
Just my ween.
I do one of these numbers where I'm holding the shaft
Hey, you put
between
my robot
finger and
penis down.
thumb, and then usually cradle the rest.
But you don't bring out the whole fucking.
Mostly, I mean, I'm like holding the
social
waistband back with the back half of my fingers, kind of a transitory dick position.
Okay,
So
Do you?
I'm waiting for the
Okay.
for the rest.
So I'm in the minority, I think, as far as I know, is I don't undo my waistband button zipper. I only unzip. I bring it through the zipper.
Oh, you do the whole like snake the hand through
Yep.
the hole.
Uh-huh.
Do you wear what kind of underwear you wear?
Boxers.
Okay, and
Yeah.
you,
I mean,
you
that
have
makes
the
it easier.
penis slit.
It does make it
Yeah.
easier.
Even with boxer briefs, though, still do it. It's just how I pee.
I feel like that's way too much rummaging around.
You
It's-
definitely want to do a move like that when you're not being watched.
It's not a lot, and you're still bringing your dick.
Yeah, it's not.
out. You know, at the end of the day, the dick's still coming out.
How about you, Josh?
Josh has not weighed in. What do you do, Josh?
I leave the testicles behind the fucking waistband, and I undo the button.
So you pull waistband down.
Yep, just the ween is out, as Russ so eloquently put.
Yeah.
Just the ween.
Just the ween. I pull it all out.
Yep.
That's weird.
It's just I don't get very many opportunities during the day to like release the boys, you know? And I feel like it's easier because there's no restriction on any sort of like the urinary tract. Not that like I'm having difficulty. Thankfully, I'm not that old.
That was my next chief concern.
As it should be. As a concerned friend, you should be very in tune with my urinary tract issues.
You got a problem, homie. I want to hear about it.
Yeah.
It's even think about it. I'm like 90% out. The most important thing for me is making sure that
So
I'm
just
holding the elastic back and it doesn't accidentally snap on the jewels.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be.
It's like my last 3 fingers or 4 is to kind of like push and
It's-
hold those back.
It's not an every time situation.
Yeah.
Because like
I'm just thinking like urinal in a public
yeah,
space.
because there's even times that I pull the fucking snake in the bushes like Andy does down there and fucking root around for the old twig.
But then your hand has to go in and then around and then in and
Yeah,
around.
I said
It's
it
like
is.
a
It is not
4-step.
an efficient process.
Yeah.
You can do one where like so some of my underwear doesn't have P flaps. It's stitched together in the
It's all
front.
smooth
Your,
down there.
So in which case you go through the
Batman
zipper hole
tighties?
and you can just go up and over the waistband of the underwear.
Okay.
That works.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. Next time you're going pee, man, think about just like bringing out the full party.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't need to.
It's why nobody
know.
needs to.
I go through the
We
hedges.
want to.
You know.
Okay.
There was a
Okay.
kid in my elementary school who would fully drop trowel.
Yeah, everybody knows that kid.
Yeah.
There's that one kid in every school.
It was Josh. Fun fact. He's the kid in every school. He would go to your school.
It's a lot of
And-
work.
It
Dude,
was. It was.
Not since 2015.
Andrew,
Well,
we're not
then
talking
it was a
about you. We're
crime.
talking about Josh.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. I was offended for my good friend Josh.
Ah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Want to defend his honor whenever I can. I almost vaped. You almost got $18, sir.
Well, I mean, I kind of expected to have at least one more person that brought out
I'm
the
almost
whole
there.
kit and caboodle. So
I mean, it really just comes down to that waistband, making sure that that's not constricting.
Yeah.
well, even I talked to Sharon about it. She even thought it was weird. So
It's because
Here's a thing that's related.
I mean,
that I've tried to explain to a few of my girlfriends, and they think I'm crazy. Turns out it's a whole effect called the water chain. So when I pee, my stream comes out of the slit vertically, and then very quickly will rotate 90 degrees, and then usually do another rotation back before it turns into beads, right? So that first like inch and a half of stream looks like a kind of double helix rotating.
wow, you've really
Yeah.
fucking laser visioned in on your pee stream.
Well, once you look at it, I'm like,
a deep dive.
what is this? I look into it. It's called a water chain. There's videos on it. And I've shown my girlfriends. I'm like going crazy. I'm like, am I crazy? Is this what's going on? They're like, I don't believe you. Let me see. No, you're going crazy. So next time you look at your stream, see if it looks like it turns about 90 degrees and then turns again before it breaks up.
let me help you out here. They're thinking you're crazy because you're like, hey, look at me pee. Does it look weird to you?
They should know that I spurg out about this kind of stuff by that point, right?
Josh, when your boyfriend pees on you, do you notice this helix effect?
I do not.
Okay, so myth busted.
Thank you for clearing that up.
I think it boils down to the individual, right?
It might.
I would hope you all have vertical slits to your urethras.
Some people are sideways.
I got a
full-on pancake.
No, not full on pancake. I mean, just out the right.
fun fact. I got
Or
a
left.
plus sign.
You got a plus sign,
Yep.
like a Phillips head screwdriver.
That's terrifying.
It sounds efficient.
Like, I don't
Sounds
want to continue
proprietary.
down this rabbit hole.
It's like looking down an olive before you core it. You know.
Oh, old Olive Dick Paulson over here.
I don't appreciate
I
association.
would say it's
with
more
that.
akin to a predator's face.
Oh, whoa.
That's the inevitable
Yep.
end of this conversation.
Well, I just
is
took you
into
there
some
anyway.
sort of horror monster
course.
that is Josh's penis, and I'm not on board for that.
You started this.
I did
I
not.
made it worse for you. This
You
is what's
started
gonna
it with
happen.
You always
Balls,
make
Russ.
it worse.
You started it with pee balls.
He's just mad that I brought his boyfriend into this.
What have we been doing to keep sane for the last year?
Trying to
and a
keep
half?
him secret, Russ.
Oh man. Well, pretty much as
Shouted
soon
you.
as the pandemic
Let's
started,
bring him out.
we got into Satisfactory.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, it was like mid 2020.
There is a game we all played where you build machines to help you build quicker machines that help you build better machines. And before you know it, you've been building machines to build machines for 280 hours.
That's true.
And I loved it. It was full autism mode, crunching numbers, figuring out flow rates, power, and that was a blast. And then we got into Valheim.
Valheim, yep.
Ooh.
Did you play that with us?
I did.
Little bit.
I did. That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. That was a good game.
I had a hoot and a half.
Viking Minecraft with PS1, PS2 graphics, put it that way.
Is it really that bad?
It reminded me of the PlayStation 2.
It's
It was stylized like that
Stylized,
on purpose.
yeah,
That
but I
soft anti-aliasing.
I wouldn't say
with
the graphics look like PlayStation 2 graphics.
Oh, that's getting an update this month, guys. Home and Hearth.
The
Home and
PlayStation
Hearth.
2?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
It's called the PS3.
Yep.
makes sense. They come out with the PS3 after the PS2.
Yeah.
Just like the Xbox, it follows a logical number progression.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Like the Xbox One being the original Xbox.
Mhm.
Yep.
Of course.
We really haven't played. I mean, we did the Forest. When was that?
That's
Forest
how
was
we
during-
started our pandemic.
Was playing the Forest.
Playing the Forest. Yeah. We all had time off.
If y'all haven't seen the Forest, horror movie turned into a video game. Crash landed playing on an island full of cannibals and other bizarre
Accoutrement.
shit. Leave it at that.
Yeah, we
Worth
have
playing
some
through.
really random clips on our Twitch channel from that.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
hey, fuck you, bird, is an entire clip. It lasts about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It's-
That just encapsulates my entire life.
yeah.
Hey, fuck you,
Fuck
bird.
Fuck you, bird.
Are you in the birds aren't real camp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Government drones. Mm-hmm.
I believe it.
Have you seen it, Josh? There's a
I
whole
have.
subreddit. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Related to that.
There's also birds with arms. It's important.
More entertaining, but not factually accurate.
You're correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Birds do not have arms.
They should.
I'm pretty sure
It'd be
it
better.
makes it a
Yeah.
dinosaur.
Yeah, it would be better.
Yeah,
I
I mean, I didn't say it wasn't not better. I'm just saying.
I don't know
makes
how
it
you guys
dinosaur.
remember fucking anything timeline-wise about the last year.
I ask Andy, and then he tells me.
yeah, like
Yeah, no, there's some I don't know,
stuff happened,
real-
when it
real-
happened. I don't fucking
Real amount
remember.
of time dilation. The pandemic has officially lasted for ever.
It feels like we played the Forest when we were still doing the podcast, but
No, we didn't. Yeah. And that was the very start of the pandemic. It was like, hey, we should do a thing.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. What's a game we can all play? Yeah.
Well, besides going back to Valheim, I don't think there's anything immediately on the docket for another group get together. But that is tempered by the fact that our dear friend Josh here has joined the master race.
white
Yes.
people. I mean, PC. Sorry,
That was not PC, but I did buy one.
Computer gaming.
That was a little too Xbox. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean that's where I spend most of my time. It must be rubbing off
the
on me.
League of Legends chat out
12,
of here.
12-year-old racists are getting into my head.
Russ is over
Yeah.
here inting.
During the pandemic, I became a incel cuck. In case you guys were wondering,
Full on neat, full red pill.
I'm an intellectual dark web.
Oh, red pill.
He now actually has a tattoo of Jordan Peterson's anus on his anus.
Oh, Peterson.
Jordan Peterson.
That's great.
Little Schadenfreude there for you.
Well, it's factually correct.
But no, you're getting a PC, and you're going to be playing real boy games now.
Yes,
Yeah.
big boy games.
He's going to play Overwatch and Red Dead. It's going to be exactly the same
He's going to
situation.
immediately rebuy GTA. Be like, oh, this sucks on the PC.
Hey guys, I'm just got to play through this game again.
Yeah.
That's
I'm sorry, I'm
Accurate.
channeling Colin right now. That's what Colin would have done. He's
Yes.
like, oh, I have to once again play through all the Mass Effects.
I mean, if Mass Effect,
Let's-
if it's going to be on the PC, I'll probably have to play it.
Let's make a bet right now.
It is on the PC.
The loser of the bet has to donate a subscription to Twitch. Okay. The bet is, how long ago did Colin last play Skyrim? And
Right
the person
now?
farthest from the truth, we'll have to call him up and ask him.
My answer's final.
Yeah.
He's
So you
playing
feel
it
like he's
probably
playing
this
it
moment?
tonight.
Yeah.
At 8:54 p.m.
Yes.
on whatever day it is. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
Can I
COVID
price his
time.
right, Andy? I'm going to come in 1 minute after he did.
I feel like I have an
After,
unfair
you think
advantage.
he's playing it a minute in the future? He's
Yes.
broken causality.
Yes, he's going to still be playing
I'm
it.
going to see what he's playing.
I have
playing
him
it.
on my like Xbox friends list. So a lot of times I see what he's been playing.
He hasn't
Yeah.
logged into Steam in like 8 years. I
True.
saw that the other day. Yeah. I have a feeling that, especially with COVID, he probably went back and played Skyrim again over the last year.
Oh,
I would not put it
definitely.
past
Didn't a
him.
remaster thing just come out?
With the third remaster, ninth remaster, something like that. They're coming out with Skyrim again.
Yeah, no, I saw a thing. I saw a thing.
What happens when you beat a dead horse so much that it just turns into a pile of goo? Is there
You
like an
finally
expression for
awake.
that?
Stop it. It's already
There is an
dead.
expression for that. We have it now.
Horses.
It's called Skyrimming.
Yeah, Skyriming is when you travel with haste up like a vertical hill. Like in a
on
video
the horse
game,
that you beat into a puddle of goo.
in a
like-
video game, if I can like scramble up a hill that's not designed to be climbed up through like physics glitching, I call that Skyrimming, because climbing mountains in Skyrim was stupid easy, right? You just like bash your forehead against a vertical wall and your character would fly up.
We don't even have to foos roda.
Well, I know, but it was more fun that
In
way.
fact, that might be counterproductive to your climbing
yeah, you
endeavor.
probably just
Yeah,
bounce yourself right off there.
I fucking hate Skyrim.
Recently, I finally bit the bullet I knew that I would get addicted to and started playing RimWorld, and that has devoured my life over the last month.
I thought he was going to say ketamine.
It is. I'm in the K-hole for 12 hours a day.
The rim hole.
The rim hole, yes.
Nick's been rimming all day.
It's just nonstop
Rimhole
rimming.
sounds bad.
There's lots
He
of
can't get out.
organ harvesting involved, and
As one would
dogs,
expect.
And,
Yeah.
what
His
do you?
butthole is chapped.
I've been playing in Boreal Tundra. It's a little cold, so gotta wear.
Frostbitten and chapped.
Yes, exactly.
I've been playing in a Boreal Tundra as well. Lots of Daisy. Playing
Oh, yeah.
Daisy Namalsk. Yeah.
That's
all Andy plays anymore.
Daisy.
No, that's not true. I play some Risk of Rain too every now and then.
Some Stardew.
Some Stardew.
The
Always.
Namalsk version of DayZ for the uninitiated is USSR, circa 1980, except everything sucks even more.
Yeah, 100%. You're.
Yeah, I
in-
mean, there's zombies, so
Yeah.
You desperately hope in an hour of searching that you find a bag of raw rice to eat.
You don't have an hour.
15 minutes.
Maybe.
And then the children laughter starts. And
That's true. And then the lightning happens and you would die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
overall it's a really fun game. My favorite part was when I fed you guys bad medicine.
My favorite part of you
medicine.
playing with us was you playing with us in the entirety.
I know.
I didn't
I have a
think
lot
that
of
game
fun.
had a higher difficulty level, but then you started playing with us, and it was a blast.
does.
Yeah.
I swore you were getting lost on purpose the moment
No.
after I gave you a compass,
I
but
need,
you would
like-
just
I need a
disappear
fucking-
into the woods.
Dude, you got me killed in the first like 15 minutes of playing Daisy on an almost
And we had
empty
been
server.
playing for days,
Yeah.
for hours geared
Oh,
up.
yeah. I had like 40 hours into that character. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of us have superpowers.
Yes.
True.
Yours is striking your friends down.
Yeah, 100%. striking his friends down via others.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like
fun.
Mr. Bean, just causing chaos by accident.
I love
in a
Mr.
polite
Bean.
manner.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do my best.
He's been in it.
Being in it.
Russ, what have you been playing recently?
Recently, so always Apex. I mean, I'm hooked on that.
You got to keep at the top of the pyramid there.
Yep, I just got to be at the top
chain.
all the times. I talked to Andy about it the other night. I'm getting more and more frustrated with the fact that I'm playing on a fucking potato gen Xbox.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
I think I'm falling farther and farther behind the curve, and it's definitely not that I'm just getting older. That can't be it.
No,
Probably.
no.
Not allowed.
Our shooting days are not over.
No,
we are
I
still in
refuse.
our prime.
The fact that there's like an old man group of people playing fucking Counter-Strike and shit like that means that I can play first-person shooters my entire life.
Yeah.
No, but realistically, though, that's like a Gen 1 Xbox.
Yeah.
And it is really starting to, like, even if it wasn't the hardware itself being dated, there's a lot of hard miles put on that machine.
Yeah.
I've
And I
always
wanna-
thought
I
of
wanna-
it as like the DBZ training montage where he goes through the extra gravity to be strong. Because, in my shooting days, my mouse pad was a piece of paper and I was playing on a coffee table playing
Yeah.
Modern Warfare. And then when I got a decent setup, I was something like, oh, this is how the game's supposed to run and play, not on a PC made out of old bananas. And suddenly you're like, wow, I can go 20-1 in a given match because I'm not playing at 400 millisecond ping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think once you do update, you're going to replay Apex and just totally reevaluate the food chain.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, with Josh picking up a PC, I think I might just have to start trying to dust off the old M&K. See if we can get the, because I know on the PC and stuff that I'd be playing on over there, it's more robust than that Gen 1 Xbox is, and I probably solve a lot of my graphical.
Now, are you going to be mousing and keyboarding it, or do you use a controller?
That's a damn good question. I would probably try the controller first.
That's what I think I'm going to lean. Yeah, same. So I think that's what I would lean into. But I mean, you get a PC to do the thing, but everything's gonna,
But it's like, I don't know, because like some games translate well to a controller.
Oh yeah.
It would be nice to get back into kind of the Twitch shooting of a mouse and keyboard, but I might. It's been so long. It has been.
You're going to feel like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I tried to play a shooter on the PC, I was immediately told by everyone in the lobby through their actions that I did not belong there. It's night and day difference.
Okay. Well,
I did try a little Apex, I think, when we first got this PC set up, because I wanted to play with some of you guys, and they didn't have crossplay yet on Apex. So
yeah, I kind of remember that.
It wasn't terrible. Like, I wasn't, but I mean, I also know that as a new accounts you get put into the bot servers,
finger paint lobbies.
Yeah, finger paint lobbies. So always gives you a false sense of your own dominant skill in that scenario. Because I mean, even going in knowing like I know the basics of the game because I've been playing it for fucking 2 years. Now I just got to get used to the fact that I'm aiming differently. So that wasn't quite fair. But I don't know. I did have Apex on my list of stuff to talk about because one of my most common gripes I feel like that I have in games is fucking microtransactions.
Yeah.
And Apex is always going to be at the top of my list because I play it so actively. Or a game that has just fucking consumer unfriendly microtransactions. And the reason at this point I'm starting to get more and more irritated at Apex is simply because nothing has been really done to upgrade the quality of the play experience. What I'm talking about is specifically, we're still on 20 tick rate servers for a competitive first-person shooter.
Yeah.
And more stuff gets added to the game, and more stuff gets added to what I imagine is like the back end of the game, because you have new characters, new abilities, new things to interact with on the map, and yet it still feels like we're playing on the initial fucking potato servers, and they've never been good, and it just gets more and more noticeable. Admittedly, we just had an event start yesterday, I think. Anytime new content drops, the first couple of days are always rough. That's pretty much a standard for every game that exists. I just would really hope if they want the game to last, that they'll get around to maybe upgrading some of the infrastructure that's involved in the video game.
The thing is, looking this up, Apex Legends has made $1 billion.
Yeah.
600 million of which was this year so far.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If I'm rating this right, 600 million in fiscal year 2021.
I'll give you an example. If you guys don't play very often, so right now there's a collection event, which is a microtransaction cosmetic event. You can earn some stuff for free, but none of the really good stuff comes out unless you're paying for it. A pack costs $7. And it's going to guarantee you one of the 24 items that come out of the event. Now,
technically not a loot box, so it's legal.
Well, I mean, it still comes out of a loot box.
Yeah.
Loot boxes are not. We haven't banned loot boxes yet. And then what happens is they have an heirloom item, which is one of the characters has a special melee item that they can acquire through these collection events. Otherwise, you have like a 1 in 500 pack chance of randomly opening an heirloom if you don't get it through one of these collection events. And this is how they introduced the new one. So the character Rampart gets her heirloom item, which is a wrench. It's actually, a lot of times, they're pretty fucking cool. Hers has like a little bubblegum ball dispenser on the bottom of it that she pops out because she's like known for chewing bubblegum. You think about like Pathfinder the robot got these like dope ass fucking boxing gloves with like little LCD screens on them.
Okay.
Really, the only person that got screwed was Wraith because she was the first one to come out before they were like, oh wait, we could do something really cool. So she just gets like a kunai that she flips around. Regardless, if you want that item, you have to have every other item from the collection event collected to get it. Okay. So that's 24 different items in the thing. It's $7 a pop to get them. So it costs you $168 to get that heirloom item. Wow.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, and this game, I've seen worse predatory consumer pricing in games that are, and I'm never going to count phones because obviously phones exist specifically to try to extort money out of you. But having it creep more and more into our mainstream video games is just becoming increasingly frustrating for me as I turn more and more to a grumpy old man. Because Path of Exile's MTX is insane. I won't even get into that.
They're partially owned by Tencent, aren't they?
They're majority owned
by.
They own almost that entire game, which is a phone. They got their big break on phone games, didn't they?
I don't know their exact history, but I know that mobile games account for a large majority share of Tencent's.
Yeah, I would assume.
Their revenue is.
I mean, they kind of come in and do that, right? They're like, look, we've made fuckloads of money through our MTX microtransaction.
They can go to pretty much any developer and be like, hey, we will totally bankroll you. Just give us a cut of your shares.
If you guys want to start printing money, we have a system that we use.
It works.
And you've got, the grandfather Zynga that kind of led into that. This kind of leads into something I did want to talk about. And it's slightly old news, but it's new to us because we've been in the ether for over a year. China has for a long time had limitations put in place on the number of hours under 18s can play video games. They've recently decided to tighten that wrench down. And if I remember correctly, children under 18 are now allowed to play for 1 hour a day, Friday through Sunday from 8 to 9 p.m. and an hour on holidays. And this is all enabled by the fact that it's only online games, which is a majority of the games they play. You think of League of Legends and whatnot. But when you sign up to something like League of Legends in China, you tie your account to your real ID, your national ID that China uses for their social credit system. They're doing this all in an effort to curb what do they call them? Laydowns. I think is the translation.
Hippies.
It's the same thing we would call a NEET, NEET. Was it no experience, education, or training? Hikikomori in Japanese. Essentially, there's a whole generation of young men that have just decided to say "fuck you" to the workforce and not work. And they just play video
we
games.
have an American term for
NEET, NEET.
Wait, I've never heard that.
Somebody
I've never heard of it
either. Yeah.
You guys got to internet more.
Can the internet make up a term for itself? That seems unfair. That's like giving yourself a nickname.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people on the internet. It's not going to lead to a whole lot of conversation, but I think much like China's attempt at curbing, you can remember when was it Mao Zedong? There was that whole infestation of birds, and he held like a bounty to kill the twits or whatever back in the 60s, and they killed a whole bunch of birds, and it made the insects go crazy, and they caused the famine to be even worse. Yeah. Josh might remember. He's a history guy with me.
He used to be Chinese.
Exactly.
That's true.
Now you're Andrew, then you were Chinese.
Then he met his boyfriend and green card.
The pandemic was a weird time, guys. I've gone through, wear a lot of hats.
The boyfriend turned him white.
There's a lot you could say about, China's attitude at limiting video game rights, as how that would fly in America.
I was surprised. I didn't know the specifics of anything on there. 1 hour a day.
It was like 3 hours.
Was 3.
3 hours total a week. They had a limit in place before this. They're just tightening it down. And then there's people arguing, okay, if we want to play devil's advocate, we don't let under 18s drink or, go to the military, that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, I think this is just a symptom. We're seeing a lot of people of this generation, the generation beneath us, Gen Z, giving up on the standard boomer ideal of working yourself to death to retire because the world's fucked, right? Climate change and all this shit. And they have nothing else to do because they've given up, so they play video games, right? What else are you going to do to fill your time? So by limiting video game time, you're just treating the symptom, right? You're putting some cream on your horse barnacles. It's not going to get rid of the underlying problem. And I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of stuff actually starts filtering into America, because this isn't a China-specific problem. We have the same generation of kids growing up now who, they're missing out on years of school because of COVID, and they see that climate change is super important and that some boomers don't give a shit about it. Like, why bother doing any of this? And we had the whole pandemic of violent video games in the 90s and D&D before that in the 80s. There might be some pushback, but I think more importantly for us as gamers, 3 hours a week in China, like, how is that going to affect pro sports and video games? How is that going to affect cheaters? And I watched a whole video on ELO boosters and League of Legends, people who make a living in like Eastern European, making 50% more on average than a doctor does there just by ranking up people's accounts in League of Legends.
Well, here's a question. Have they made exceptions for if you're earning an income through your
If you're
gaming?
under 18, no, you're limited to that 1 hour each day from Friday to Sunday. I could be wrong. I gathered this off a tweet when it was announced about 2 weeks ago. But there are 110 million minors that play games today in China. That is a third the population of the United States in children alone playing video games in China. Tencent reports under 16s account for only about 2.5% of their total player spend, whatever that means in quotes. But today's kids are tomorrow's adults, right?
Yeah.
And generations of kids are growing up with the idea of microtransactions being the norm. And if you're to suddenly cut that down, like if this plan actually works and kids stop playing games as a form of entertainment and do other things, like that's going to do a number on these AAA companies like Tencent and Zynga that get their money from children playing these games. It also makes me wonder, is there going to be a resurgence of offline games and old retro games in China because they can't play online anymore?
I would assume.
A lot of pirating, right? It's going to be kind of fascinating to see the fallout of this over the next 5-10 years if they keep up that law, how it's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm really wondering how it's going to affect esports. The only thing that I can imagine they do to rectify esports, because it's a huge growing industry, and I don't know that they'd want to necessarily hamstring it like that. So I'm wondering if they're going to have some kind of like CCP team, like CCP run esports teams, or even Chinese specific leagues.
I don't know enough about it to know. I could see that happening, but more importantly, I think that it's just becoming an epidemic. I mean, we don't have the video game cafe culture that they have over there, and we don't know necessarily what it's like to be a slice of life, 16-year-old boy or girl in China. Like, how often are they playing games without these laws?
Yeah.
But of course, just like any other restriction that's only trying to cure a symptom, they're going to get around this, right? My initial thought was using your parents' national registration. That's another 3 hours a week you can play. Using your grandparents, right?
Right.
They're going to find ways around it. And apparently Tencent
grandma plays a lot of fucking Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the counter to that, Tencent's going to start using facial recognition while you're playing like League to see if you are your grandparent playing. Right. It's just a little mind blowing, but that's how they do things over there.
It's crazy that like the companies cooperate with that, right?
Well, they have to.
They have to.
I mean, I guess
A company as big as Tencent is as entangled with the national government.
I was going to say Tencent's partially owned, I think, by...
they're partially CCP owned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
fun.
It's fun.
I think all this was, if I had to guess, was in backlash to this fear of capitalistic intent, right? If these video game companies are getting big, and they are, the CCP was like, no. And Tencent's stock dropped like 10% the day they announced that and stuff like that. So interesting to see how that's going to go.
I definitely think it's alarmist to say that it's something we have to worry about translating over here. I mean, so many other systems have to be put in place before that would even be feasible.
That's true.
Like
I meant
tying your
more,
ID to
I
who you
predict us seeing crying out of adults and parents over the next 5-10 years over malicious loot box style stuff and finding out, my kids, I can't keep them from playing Fortnite for 12 hours a day.
Interesting question, though. A lot of the people that are having kids right now are our age. They have kids that are coming up in this gaming world. Mm-hmm. This goes into this whole theory of like, is there a point when you're aging that your like brain flips a switch and you become some fucking shitty human being that happens and you start like forgetting everything that you grew up with or did and start becoming like a raging fucking Karen over shit?
I don't know, but I've had a lot of boomers tell me when you get old, you become Republican. And I cannot see that being further from the truth for me personally, but I can kind of see what they mean when it comes to the general public at large. Because young people, they're starting to annoy me sometimes, and I'm like, okay, maybe I am just becoming an old Fogarty, an old dawdling old man. So
I still think I'm constant. Kids annoy me most of the time. They have my entire life.
I think you're allergic to young things.
As I should be.
Yeah.
Nothing new is good.
I mean, fuck, old people annoy me too.
Yeah, I mean, really just other people.
Yeah,
it's very few people that I find not irritating in some fashion. So
the problem is that we live in a society.
Yeah.
I heard that quote once.
Goddamn society.
Yeah. Better news. I know none of you watch Sword Art Online.
That's accurate.
It's an anime,
Correct.
but it's got a standard trope in it of jacking into the Matrix. They call full diving. It's this lay down VR getup where you get into essentially this tube and it's whatnot. Japanese company is either Indiegogo, Kickstarter. I don't remember what it is. They're creating the half dive, which is essentially a VR rig modeled after that, where you lay down, and the benefits of which is that the headgear can have a much larger amount of lenses and hardware, because otherwise, if you're standing, the headgear gets too heavy.
Yeah,
so they're going to have
your neck and shit, right? Yeah.
So you're laying down. They've got a rig your hand goes into with tension wires to give you feedback in game, and then things on your feet. So when you move your feet, it'll make your character run in game.
Yeah.
And I thought, what a novel idea to try to do a VR setup where you're laying down. That just reeks of overweight nerd jacked into the Matrix to be like, you're never going to get up again. But it was interesting to see, and I feel like that's one step closer to actually doing the Wall-E Matrix thing. It's going to be amazing.
I'm into it. I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ready Player One.
Jack me off.
I was
Jack me in, jack me out, jack me off. That sounds like a Richard or George Carlin skit. Finally, short other little topics, because apparently we weren't recording. Someone has remade Doom where you fight Margaret Thatcher. So if there's any British people out there, I'm sure that gets your Ghiblies going. It's coming out in a couple weeks. Just Google Doom Margaret Thatcher and check it out. It's pretty amazing.
Admittedly, the first time you said that, I thought you said Dune, obviously, because Dune is the subject matter, and I'm like, oh, she's
Dune
like,
was a video
she's
game.
like the Benny Gesserit, like
It would be very weird with Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher with her fucking pain box.
She is the spice. For us Americans, if you don't know who Margaret Thatcher is, what's the chick from Harry Potter that was in the pink? Anybody?
Oh,
kind of like her, Richard Nixon and Ronald Reagan had a hate baby. Yeah, she set back
Professor
the UK. Umbridge, Reagan, and Nixon got together and butted off a little spite goblin.
all of that sounds unpleasant.
Such is Margaret Thatcher.
I'd watch that happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's a national holiday to piss on her grave.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Are we gonna watch game trailers on the podcast?
Probably not on the podcast. We'll probably have to do that as additional content.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fun.
It's not
Everybody loves additional content.
Yeah, well, you know, it doesn't convey very well to an audio podcast. So
I just asked because I know when we were kind of discussing topics tonight, you guys listed a lot of games, and I'm like, I don't know, I could not give you one piece of commentary on that because I have no idea what the hell it's about.
yeah, we'll have to get
fair.
we'll have to get together so we can do like a trailer night.
Part of the problem
Yeah.
this week was that a lot of the trailers were literally just teasers. You know, no information other than the fact that this game is coming out.
Or
oh, thanks.
They were the God of War Ragnarok trailer, and it's just like, here's all of it.
I
Know everything about the game now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
No, it's terrible. Fuck that trailer.
Oh, is it one of those trailers?
It's one of those trailers.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
you know that story that you've been looking forward to continuing? Here is all
Here's
of
all the
it.
spoilers. God, I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
It's very possible. Maybe the game is so fucking grand that what seem like giant spoilers,
Or just tidbits?
just tidbits.
That was my argument when he brought
Yeah.
it up. Is like
They could be
there
just
was a lot
tittle
of
biddles.
good reveals in the first one.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just kind of giving you the red herring of like, oh, we're spoiling this shit, but really there's like much more to be.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, the first game was so big and like everything was a reveal. So
Yeah.
that very well could be the case. I'm a little bit worried about that trailer showing me too much.
I mean, at the end of the day, the game's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And I will be avoiding all trailers because
Yeah.
I don't want anything spoiled. I already know I'm going to play the next God of War.
Yeah.
And I readily look forward to it.
Yeah, I've never played a God of War.
Not a single one?
Not a single
you
one.
have done yourself a disservice.
I don't
now,
have a PlayStation.
I say that you didn't need one. So God of War was on Xbox for the first 3.
Oh, shit.
Now, I will say this. I am a big God of War fan. I've enjoyed playing all of them. I can readily say that they're not like award-winning video games up until now.
The series was very different until the Ragnarok Old Man Kratos.
Yes.
It was a button mashing. What's the?
It's like a Devil May Cry light.
Devil May cry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it now?
Light because the combos weren't even that.
It's more of a cinematic experience now, or
it's an everything.
It's always been very cinematic.
The most recent God of War is to the old ones as Logan was to the Wolverine or the X-Men cartoon.
That's exactly the simile I was going to make.
Right.
Okay,
that's fair.
Okay,
yeah. I mean, I think about I have an anecdote about at one point. I think around God of War 2 or 3, I'd go get gas at like the Circle K. And there was a guy there that through random conversation, he determined that I play video games, he plays video games. We got talking about God of War. And one time he's telling me about how he really likes the game, but he keeps getting stuck on the puzzles. And he's like, he wished they weren't in the game because the puzzles were really tough. And at the time, in those first couple God of Wars, I looked at this guy like, you got a low IQ, my friend.
Yeah.
Because a puzzle in the early God of War games would be like, move this rock in a circle, and it's literally like the only thing you could do with that rock. Like they were not puzzles.
What color's a fire truck?
Yeah. So I mean, well, even that has more nuance, I think, than some of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are fire trucks that
there are yellow ones.
Yes, exactly.
I've seen them.
That is twice as hard as the early God of War puzzles.
Like early Skyrim puzzles.
Yeah, early God of War puzzles exist simply to just break up the mindless combat and the cinematics.
It's almost like a load screen, huh? It's just a thing that you have to
give your hands a break while you're, you can pat yourself on the back that you like did the only thing that it was possible to do going forward. Now, having said that, there is a lot of times in the new God of War and stuff where like I have to sit there and like scratch my head a little bit and try to figure out what it is that the game wants me to do to progress. It's not a puzzle game. It's a platforming puzzle game. So the puzzles are always there to slow you down, but not actually stop you from enjoying and playing the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they do a great job of that.
Very well done.
Yeah. The combination of, I mean, and Andy told me about this game probably for like a year before I picked it up. Because he was playing it in his bedroom before I finally borrowed the PlayStation to give it a go. And he talked about a lot about how seamless it is going from like zone to zone, having the narrative be told to you, like stories told you while you're like out on the boat paddling around, and then it would pause it to go do stuff and then come back and it would pick up. The whole game just really feels very seamless.
Yeah.
Like there is I think no loading screen in that game. There's no loading screens, and the game's huge.
Okay.
They load stuff in
like when you do squeezes.
Yes,
exactly. You're doing squeezes. I think the thing that comes closest to a loading screen is when you use your fast travel system, because you go into like a alternate zone. It's like it's just loading a new area because it didn't have time to like progressively load it in. It's like I'm jumping from here to here, so we got to like scrub this, bring this up. So they put you in a little purgatory to get there.
Right. I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, but it's great. Dialogue's great. Story's great. I could not highly recommend more.
Because I watched a clip of when Kratos is facing down the world serpent. And it was funny. It was amazing. It looked great. It made me really want to play the game.
Knowing that happens doesn't make it any less awesome when it happens.
Yes. And now the early God of Wars I really enjoyed because I actually liked the whole premise for the game that, you were an angry mortal at one point that was like, I'm going to go kill all the gods. And then you progressively just start killing gods.
Yeah.
So is God of War, could that translate into a good movie franchise? Could that make the transition over?
Yes.
I mean, they'd fuck it up.
Yeah, that'd be the word.
I mean, that's like the one thing that'll kill Kratos is trying to make him into a movie.
It'd be a phenomenal movie. Like if you do stuff to where, like, I mean, obviously you're not gonna have as much fighting in the game or in the movie as you would in the game and stuff. But I think about how cool combat sequences could look, different actors that could play different like gods and deities and whatnot. Yeah, I think that would be. But then again, the new game is beautiful. Why even bother?
In that vein, a problem I've noticed in the last 10, 15 years especially is when you consider a translation from a book to a movie, you always lose something. And if you read the book beforehand, you're like, okay, this, that, and the other is different or not there. it's a shame, but whatever, right? Because you can only do so much in a movie. We're encountering a problem in video games, especially in franchises, where if you're going to say, okay, let's make a God of War movie, where do you start? Where do you end, right? He's been playing and killing gods for almost a decade now. You know, he started with the Greek or Roman pantheon. Do you make a new God of War Ragnarok movie or do you not? And at the end of the day, what ends up happening is they ignore all the source material and then create up a new storyline, and it's shit.
Bastardized version of everything all crammed together.
The question I ask myself when I think, oh, this would make a really good movie is, what about a movie would I enjoy more than the game itself?
Right.
Because games, they bring a whole dimension of interaction that you can't get it with a movie. So it is those things, choreographed fight scenes, essentially what amounts to one long cut scene. But with this seamless transition, we're getting, you know, modern day AAA games look fucking gorgeous. They are pretty much movies that you get to interact with. And more I'm finding that, you know, I don't really want you to make a movie out of this. I mean, go for it, I guess, if you have the $300 million to put behind it. But like a Halo movie, that would be amazing in one sense. But in the other sense, I think about them making it, I'm like, they're going to cock it up. Like,
Well, they haven't been able to make a good Halo game in a while, too, so,
yeah,
Fingers
and that's the
crossed.
question. Where do they start with a Halo movie?
Isn't
Are
there
they gonna...
a beta of that coming out this month?
Yeah, Halo Insiders on the 24th get a potential invite to try some of the multiplayer out for the new Halo Infinite, I believe.
yes, sir.
So I signed up for that, the Insider program. Maybe I can get in and
Hope you get
give
it.
it a go. What
That would
now?
be cool.
What really actually spurred my interest in even trying out the Halo multiplayer is that Nick recommended that we try out Splitgate.
Oh, Splitgate.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
which
That's
is
the
in
one
like-
I've been playing recently.
Yeah, which is like an alpha or something like that. It's free to play right now.
Yes.
It's got the whole MTX thing where like, oh, the game's not finished, so you
But
don't have
buy
to pay
some-
for
yeah.
it, but we are selling a bunch of shit in case you
Yep.
want to support
And
the game. And
Splitgate is pretty much a first-person shooter, but with the portals from the game Portal.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
you guys were saying it feels a lot like the old Halo style
It does.
multiplayer.
it is.
does.
I mean, it is. It is. It doesn't feel like it. It is.
It just straight up is.
It's just straight up Halo
Yeah,
with
is.
portal guns.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it took this long for somebody to come up with the concept of throwing portal guns into a shooter.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
It is really
it
weird
is.
considering how popular shooters and Portal are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That leads me into something Josh and I were talking about that I mentioned before. I had mentioned, I forgot the name of the first one. The time dilation.
I don't remember the name of
shooter,
either.
Oh, I
something-
remember the name of that.
something
Lemon's
League.
Gate.
Well, the new one, there's another game out, Lemnis Gate.
Lemnis Gate.
And-
Lemmings-gate.
Lemon's Gate.
Gate.
Lemon's Gate.
Lemon Party.
Lemon Party.
If you want to know more about this game, Google Lemon Party.
Dot
Also,
org.
there was a really great podcast, Two Girls, One Cup, that covered it.
Yes.
And Meatspin is a good news site that also covers
It really gives you the runaround, though. So.
Yeah, back and forth. But no, this game, we're getting into a genre of shooter that deals with causality, time manipulation. In Lemnis Gate, how the standard mode, which they have multiple modes, starts, one player plays the start of the match, like Capture the Flag or Team Deathmatch or King of the Hill by themselves. You're the only player on the map. And you go capture a flag and you run back to your base. Meanwhile, the other player is in a drone watching in a camera what the first player is doing. Then that other player gets to play while the first player's actions go again. So if that person ran and grabbed a flag and ran back, you can now on your turn shoot that player. And he becomes a ghost. Essentially, he continues to do what he's doing, but has no effect on the game work because he's dead. But then he gets to go again. And now he can shoot the guy that shot him, which means that he never died in the first place. So he does capture the flag. And then the second player gets to go. And it goes back and forth until there's multiple copies of the same two players, each trying to interrupt each other's past selves to the point where you can completely almost rewind the timeline depending on in what order you kill the other player. And there's some gameplay of it out, and it's a brilliant idea, and I can't wait to see a AAA game ruin it. But
You win when your nose starts bleeding.
exactly. When you become your own grandfather.
Yes.
I mean, it seemed like a really innovative idea on some. I mean, everybody loves a good FPS, but I mean, all you're going to get out of a AAA title these days is World War II again. So,
Back to that.
Right, we're back to it. So I like the innovative idea of putting a turn-based thing in there. How you're going to be able to alter things. I think it's going to be really neat.
I will have
really
to.
looking forward to it.
I haven't actually watched anything on either of those games, so I apologize. But I'll have to check them out because they sound.
I
pretty
mean, I think it's
intriguing.
going to be like, it's weird to say, but it's like a big brain first-person shooter. Like you're going to have to be thinking about this. There's going to be real strategy.
It's like
involved,
playing.
I feel like.
You know, you have a whole nother level to worry about now. Yeah, you can just kill the opponent, but which opponent you kill is much more important than it used to be, because you can essentially cancel out their entire action if you kill them at the right time in the right place. And I can only imagine how this is going to get in like team. If you got 3 people going at a time back and forth, suddenly you've got 80 players on the field, except it's only 6 people in total, right? They're just multiple copies of each player.
Yeah.
So you can even do things like launch rockets into corners before there's anybody there, just to aerial deny future versions of them, right? It's bonkers, and it's going to get weird. We'll see if that takes off or not.
Well, speaking of get weird,
Mm-hmm.
you guys ready for break?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
All right.
That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's take a short break.
We'll be right back. Unlike a pandemic break.
We will be right back.
Noise floor,
Noise floor.
glass ceiling, noise floor.
So that pauses the podcast recording.
Yeah.
But we stay live on Twitch. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, these people can still hear us.
Oh no.
Yeah, you guys were talking about liking puzzle games. I don't play them, but there has been a lot of really good recent puzzle games coming out.
Myst is on the Game Pass.
Yeah,
Just saying.
true.
If you want to learn fucking calculus, but Talos Principle came out a while back. Really good reviews. My brother was playing one. Goose, if you're on, remember that game you were playing where you're up in like the tree house? You're telling me about it. That might have been the Talos Principle. But like those weird puzzle games have been quietly getting pretty decent in the background. Not my jam, because puzzle games piss me off. I either feel like I know it and it's too easy, or it's too hard and I give up. So, no middle ground. Oh, the laptop is scheduled for an important update. They have to put the microchip in the ivermectin.
Okay.
So
It's called horse paste.
it's for the harnicles.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for river blindness.
Yes, it is. It is.
River blindness?
Yes, it's a disease that ivermectin helped cure up.
Makes you
It's not
can't see
disease,
water.
It's parasites.
Mhm.
River blindness is caused by parasites.
Does the river
Mhm.
not see anymore?
Yeah, you can't see rivers anymore. Actually.
Oh, you
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Led to a lot of drownings. It's awkward.
You think it's a road?
And then you just get swept up in the current.
Yep.
Yep. That's what happens.
This is what
You know,
happens.
that's why
when
they
you
tell you not to go chasing.
don't go chasing waterfalls. God damn it, you slut!
We got it. We're there. Yeah.
Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to.
Well,
No, not the rivers,
Well, I
Joshua.
mean, if you're used to them, you know that they're already.
Well, that's fair. Okay.
Don't
all
go
right, fine.
pre-river knowledge. I'm going to go fully reveal my package in the bathroom. Try out Russ's technique. I'm just going to drop trowel like that kid at elementary school.
Ooh, let's do some air conditioning for a little bit, eh? Yeah.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
It's
Okay. That's
become a
fine.
little sweating.
It
Yeah.
is like Phlegothos in here. BRB chat.
Look at Russ disappear into the purple.
He's gone. I would take you with me chat into the bathroom, but I
Yeah.
cannot.
It's eating Russ. No.
What?
Oh, Josh, turn the AC on. I forgot to turn the AC on. Flip the top switch to the right. Nope. Switch. Top one to the right.
Should I move that back to where it was?
Yes. Somewhere below 65 degrees.
Okay.
Yes. That's where it's at.
Penis.
Oh, penis. So you had D for so long.
What kind of D?
Sierra's going to explain to me. Jesus Christ, man.
Oh,
Calm your breathing.
that's how I go. Hard.
Uh-huh.
Hard.
Yep. All I can see is your nipples. That's so loud.
No, it's not.
It is. I didn't do anything.
What do you want me to do about it? What is that? A little pussy breath?
That was a bigger cloud than yours, bitch.
It might be. I don't know. Let me turn on my wattage on me. That's a pretty sustainable. I think we're getting about the same cloud girthiness.
The same girth, but I'm not even activating the microphone, so
That's not true.
no, it is true. I'm the one with the headphones
I can
on.
hear it without headphones, homie. That's how
I know
loud
you
it
can.
is.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Oh
Look at
my
my
God.
Bambi shirt, guys.
Is that a Bambi shirt? I didn't get a good look at your. Oh.
That's almost everyone's reaction. Let me Oompa Loompa it in front of you here.
Oh no, I'm breaking the illusion. You guys can see green.
Uh-oh. Should you need me to fix that?
What? Fix what?
Can you see green?
No. That part doesn't matter. It was from my cloud. Nobody can see what you're doing. You're above the camera height. You chilling in here for a break?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah,
Give the people what they want.
that's true.
Give them what they want.
So what's everybody been up to?
We got any Star Wars fans in the house here, guys?
Yes.
I mean, not you.
I'm not talking about me.
Oh, I know, that's true. That's true. No, it wasn't you. It was Andrew who fell asleep in the last Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Because he's a bitch.
Dude, did you see in Discord how violently against the Matrix Resurrections trailer he was?
Maybe?
Oh, okay.
No, what? No, I'm responding in the chat here.
Oh, okay.
Josh, you know who I am. I mean, I got an idea.
She says, "You know I am."
Oh, okay.
A fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded less. It's less ominous when you put it that way instead of the way I read it. Josh, you know. You know. Well, what's your favorite movie then? I'll tell you if you're wrong or not.
Good night, Sarah. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sarah. Still no girls on the internet. You're still breaking rules. We love you for it.
Sleep well.
So little Tommy Boy looking hug for you there. Dude, how great is Tommy Boy though? Motherfucker holds up.
I get that in Black Sheep confused. Which one's Tommy Boy?
Tommy Boy's Callahan Auto Parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back when, so at what point, what I want to know, the real question, America, at what point did David Spade go from weedy little nerdy guy to slutty man whore? How did he make that transition?
He went to Slutty Man Whore?
Yeah, like anything that David Spade is in now, like which isn't much. Admittedly, thankfully, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like whenever Adam Sandler throws him a bone, he plays like some womanizer-esque ladies guy.
I don't know. I don't watch Happy Madison anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't watched anything in a while. You're not missing out. I mean,
Yeah.
I think honestly, I did watch the last one that had Adam Sandler in it with all like Kevin James, like they all go back to their hometown or some shit. Big Daddy. That's not what I'm thinking of.
I don't know. I don't think I've watched an Adam Sandler movie since either Big Daddy or Little Nicky, whichever
Grown-ups,
one was.
Thank you, Kona.
Okay.
1 and 2. There's
Yeah,
two of them.
I've watched neither of those.
I think Shaq's in the second one, and well, I think that says it all, doesn't it, guys?
I love Shaq.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not Shachter. Shaq the actor.
Okay.
Shachter.
Shachter.
Yeah, William Shachter.
No. Stop it. You're wrong. So
That's fair.
So Naughty, what was your favorite Star Wars movie?
I think she's playing that one close to the vest. Playing it close to the vest.
Is it because you liked Episode 8?
Ooh.
Is that your favorite?
Do not say Last Jedi is your favorite. Come on now. Kona, feel free to get in on this Star Wars chat, homie. I mean, which one do you like?
I'm an Empire guy.
I mean, Empire's the best, so.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, it has everything. So.
Well, I mean, that's solid. Little people, do you just mean Ewoks? Because, yeah.
If you're talking about Return of the Jedi, that's like easily the second best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
No reason to be embarrassed. No reason whatsoever. Now, Clone Wars is pretty good. Now, especially if we include the cartoon universe, I really love what Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have going on right now. I mean, Dave Filoni in that cowboy hat, I take it. Take it all week. Twice on Sundays. Low battery. Oh, no. Andy, we're going to lose the iPad, homie.
Well, shit.
Is there anything I can do about that or no? Is that 5%?
Is it 5?
Yeah.
Shit.
She's on her way out.
I need a USB-C charger,
Okay.
but it's not going to reach from there to there.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
Yeah.
Well, chat, it's going to be harder for me to see y'all here in a second.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I need you to do me a favor.
Okay.
Go to my room.
And
Right next to my bed.
pee on the bed.
No. Right next to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be there. Between the bed and the nightstand is going to be a row of chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Grab the USB-C cable. Just grab a USB-C cable.
Okay.
Then on the nightstand, underneath my handheld emulator, there's a battery pack.
Okay.
Very recognizable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll be back.
No, Kona. He's not going to spank me. He's got a boyfriend. He's taken.
Sorry, homie.
Man, it feels good to be back, guys. Not gonna lie, and we've managed to keep mostly towards gaming topics and funny bits. I love it. It's got my juices flowing recklessly. You find all of it? Sick. Yeah, just plug that into the iPad and you're good. Does it say charging?
Yeah. There's a light on the battery thing blinking, so. Let's see here.
Pull down the upper right-hand corner. Upper right-hand corner.
Oh, that's the wrong side. No, I don't have I don't have a little lightning bolt in there.
You might need to hit the button on the battery pack. Just press it. Okay, that USB-C cable probably isn't going to work. I think it's too low. Okay, I need you to do me another favor. Okay. All right, next to my chair, by my main desk, there is a white USB-C cable. White USB-C cable next to my chair. You got a little teary? like teary-eyed. I imagine that's going to work just fine.
We're down to 4. I still got nothing.
Hand me the iPad.
Let me have it, Mac. Thank you. Here.
Why aren't you charging? Is that the right?
Plugged into the right hole, right?
Fuck, this doesn't have USB-C out.
Oh.
God damn it. All right, another favor.
Okay.
So, just put this back on my bed if you would, and that other cable. So next to my bed, just above the charger or the USB-C cable that you grabbed, grab the other USB-C cable. I have more chargers than I know what to do with. But none of them apparently will work for a fucking iPad.
This one? Appropriate dongle?
Yeah.
And then I'll go pee and I'll rejoin.
Okay. Well, this is my regular porn. I haven't had anything to JO to because I haven't been recording myself.
With me and we'll be in a world of pure imagination.
What's the next line?
I do not know.
Nobody does.
Well, I feel like some people.
Won a game of Warzone without a kill. So the last guy suicided? Or got eaten by the zone, I guess.
I mean, it seems believable.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually won Apex games like that because the last person alive was a bot that was hiding somewhere on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in the air. The other guy or your son?
Doing some flyboy stuff.
He's a hacker. He's hacking. Did you hear that?
I did not. I can kind of hear the AC going.
It's not going to do it again. So I tried to pull this clip from the stool, but it was stuck so bad.
Oh my god! I can see the sticky on there.
Yeah,
I can
think
see it.
There's e-liquid on the stool. Gross.
Yucky. Yucky. All right, homie. What's a movie from your childhood guaranteed to make you cry?
Guaranteed to make from my childhood?
Yeah.
Nothing.
None?
No.
What the fuck? Littlefoot's mom dying, homie?
Don't give a shit, dude. I did not find that. No, I didn't find it.
That was
It was sad. I'm not gonna say it wasn't.
I mean, I feel like I get a little misty eyed if I watch that today.
Ooh, nope. I lied.
Yeah, you did.
Mufasa dying.
That's a little rough.
That is the first and only time I cried in a movie since until I was in my 30s. It's only been recently that I get even a kind of weepy reaction.
Well, I mean, it's only until recently that we were even allowed to feel feelings.
That's true. That's true. It's
when I was growing up, the acceptable feelings in my household
were shut the fuck up.
That yep, that and it's like you can be angry or you can be happy. What the fuck is sad? You're a boy. You don't get to feel those.
So I get teary-eyed during Marvel movies.
Okay.
When there's a Stan Lee cameo.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty much the only time.
He's gone now, man.
I know, dude. I know.
I recently learned that Sean Connery died.
He did?
Yes. That was my reaction. I argued
Are you
with someone.
sure?
Yes. It happened last year, homie. He's been dead for like a fucking year.
What?
Yeah. Anybody else know about Sean Connery? Oh, Simon Birch. That's a saddie. That's a saddie right there.
Yeah. Oh, he died on Halloween last year. What the fuck?
It was a spooky set of circumstances.
Don't you dare. Wow, okay. I had no idea. I actually had no idea, dude. Crazy.
I know what gets Goose when Goose dies in Top Gun. Sets him to tears every time.
That's it. Yeah, I know. I know about
Norm Macdonald did not just die. No.
You didn't know this?
No.
He did. Yeah. Day before yesterday.
What?
Or maybe it was yesterday.
Dude, homie, you can't just tell us. You can't just drop something like that in chat, homie.
Yeah,
like,
sorry, dude.
Whoa. No way. Oh my god, dude. I'm a little mind blown by that.
Yeah, it's in the VGT Discord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, Norm Macdonald was one of the funniest people that I ever had the privilege of watching. I'm honestly, I'm a little blown away by that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it turns out he had been battling cancer for the better part of a decade.
Jesus.
Just silently. Never mentioned it, and publicly. Yeah, pretty wild, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. How do you? Well, I guess he wasn't as famous now as like he was in his heyday or whatever.
I don't know necessarily. I mean, yeah, he's not in like SNL limelight, but like, he appears frequently on podcasts. He had his own podcast.
Yeah, I know he did some voice acting work a bit.
Yeah. So I don't know that he's necessarily less famous than he used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like keeping a thing like that under wraps, going through that, like, I suppose you don't want that out in the.
For some people, it would, it's very much a personal thing.
Yeah.
I think if I were terminally ill with cancer, like you guys would know, but I don't think
at large keep that. Yeah.
I think for the most part, I'd keep it keep it close.
I think if we can just kind of build on the same thing, since we talked about Marvel cameos, cancer, it's all going to line up here. Fucking Chadwick Boseman dying of cancer, leukemia or something like that. Like that. There was also that Spartacus actor that died of leukemia. It's like it's weird to think about, like these people in like Chadwick Boseman was doing fucking stunts and shit on the Marvel movie, all the while it's like going to chemo afterwards and shit.
It can get you at any age, man. It's one of those
crazy
things, dude.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think about.
Things.
That thanks Chadwick Boseman for like really knuckling down, like just giving us a bunch of stuff too. Like there's still stuff being released, like Marvel's What If coming out. Like those come out every Wednesday now.
I haven't watched any of those yet.
They are interesting. I really hope they keep going with them.
I don't know if I care that much because it's not Marvel canon, unless they plan on making it canon through like multiverse or something.
So I think it's becoming canon because of the multiverse.
I can see that
multiversal, but so they have a lot of the voice actors from the movies, which is crazy that they got them to do a lot of this stuff. They didn't get everybody, but they got most of them, and a lot of the what ifs have been really neat. They did What If Zombies, homie.
Yeah.
the laptop gun in Perfect Dark that lets you see through walls? Or
I
is this like an X-ray gun?
I don't remember either.
You get a charger for the iPad.
Yeah, it was dipping low.
I agree, Naughty Night. It is terribly interesting. Which one's been your favorite so far?
I lost my pen.
Did you put it in your butt?
Have you checked your butthole?
You want this
Eat
pen?
out, chug it.
Or did you chuckle it?
You chuckled.
Oh,
it.
this
I know
one?
you
No,
did.
my S Pen.
Oh,
I
Oh.
think it fell out here.
your Spen.
Spin.
There's a tire pressure gauge just chilling on the desk.
That's fun.
Yes, I'm gonna play with it. Right into the microphone.
I was.
Told you, $18.
We're not audio we're not audio podcasting, so it's fine. It's not the same bet. You lose. In fact, you owe me $18 now because you tried to collect the bet early, and that's wrong.
Got your Spen? I do. Put it in my phone's butthole.
Yes, the Spen goes in the butt.
In the butt of the phone.
Yes. He's probably wearing his harness.
Preferably. I go all the way down here.
No, he's probably wearing his dog harness.
Crumble is 94% hair.
And hollow bones.
True. 3% hollow bones. He's a bird.
So I do want to talk about Deathloop and Stealth games for a little bit. I want to touch on our gear grinding, and then I think it might be a good idea to ask our few watchers what kind of games they want to see us play in an off stream, like
Yeah.
Josh playing games or that kind of stuff.
If you guys are willing to commit to more nights a week, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I would love to play a RimWorld game where I name all the pawns after us and our streamers and
Okay.
see who gets their liver sold on the black market.
Dude, do
and
not sell my fucking liver. I'm already down a gallbladder. Why would you fucking do that
It's
to
worth
me?
$1,100.
Your organs
dude.
are worth money, Josh.
This reminds me,
I have a
when
bleeding disorder. I'll die on the operating table.
You haven't yet.
exactly.
It's great. I can give your character traits like sickly or whatnot.
Hemophiliac.
Yeah.
When I built your computer, I gave it a theme.
Okay.
Please share.
Question. I was going to do
No.
a form if you haven't already. Installing shit like Tixati, VLC, that kind of stuff.
I've
you?
not.
Okay, I will do that for him because you've done enough. But
Josh can do it. He's a PC owner now.
he doesn't know all the free nice.
I need
I'll
to. I
teach
need
him.
to be shown the ropes, homie.
I'll show you my rope. And the boys.
Yeah,
Okay,
dog.
I'm going to share with you, Russ. I tried it, and then went pee just a second ago.
And
Well,
it changed your life.
It made it slightly worse.
Did you pee on your balls? Because that shouldn't happen.
That is my issue. Is I would pee on my balls.
It
so-
felt awkward. Like that was akin to like the adult version of peeing with my pants down. That's what it felt like.
I mean, to each their own.
I wouldn't
just-
pee,
I
and
wanna
I
be honest
realized
with
I
you.
did my normal
I didn't
thing,
like
and
it.
I just paid attention. And I was, I pulled my whole
And
package out.
his
and it
pee did a
pops.
barrel roll.
And I had the
Do a barrel roll.
elastic of my boxer briefs in between these two fingers, and that was kind of curling my junk, but it was holding the elastic back. So I'm essentially full bore out there.
I hold the elastic bag down with like a thumb kind of a thing and just get in there with the other hand. Oh,
You two-hand it?
got Tam right, homie.
That's inefficient. How are you supposed to put a hand on the wall and lean?
Dude, most of the time, I don't even one-hand it.
You just put your head against the wall?
no,
I
I
just-
think he just free
I
willies
just,
it.
yeah, I just stand there.
That's asking for trouble.
That's
Nah,
fire
dude,
hosing
it's
it.
fine.
No, that is asking for trouble because I laugh with my whole body. That's why I can't have Farsight comics in the bathroom.
Chuckle pissing.
It's just chuckle pissing.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No funny things while I'm peeing.
Naughty Night's son got a chicken dinner in Warzone
Yeah, it did.
Without a kill.
without a kill.
Yeah.
That's my style. Just hide until you win.
That's how Nick won his first game of Fortnite.
To be fair, yeah. I had
just took
too
your
many
base.
grenades and not enough patience.
Yep. It was actually incredible how you won.
It's sheer dumb luck.
Yep.
RNGesus saved
Just
me.
the fact they built themselves to death.
Yeah.
They built their own trap for your grenades.
Yeah.
It was really impressive.
Yeah, Norm Macdonald passing. When certain celebrities die, you get upset, and certain times you just get angry. Like, oh, man, I was so pissed. I was like, he's like in his barely turned 60.
I found out on the
Yeah,
on
Josh.
the thing.
Josh just found out.
I found out live, homie.
Yeah,
it was
I'm
rough.
sorry.
It was rough.
Love Norm Macdonald.
Andy and I talked about it the day it happened, and I give him mad props because like he's actively running a podcast and stuff, and I had no idea he was even had cancer, and he's been battling it for years.
I didn't know he had cancer. I didn't know he had a fucking podcast. I can go back and listen to that.
Yeah, I recommend it. It's pretty good. But yeah, you watch it. Like, I mean, if you watch it now with the knowledge that he had cancer, it might make like his mannerisms might indicate that he's not fully healthy.
Yeah.
But in the article and stuff about him dying, it's like they made a point of that he's been battling it for years, and they made a decision to hide it from, his fans and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, that's
Because he's a professional through and through.
fucking Norm Macdonald the machine.
Somebody on the Reddit thread of him dying did link to a segment of one of his comedy shows, him talking about his uncle getting cancer and how nowadays it used to just be old men just got sick and died, and now they have to battle cancer. They're waging a war, right? He's like, I feel like, now I'm not a doctor, but I feel like when you die, the cancer dies too, and that's a draw. It's not like the cancer goes home and fucks your wife, right? You didn't. It's a pretty good way to put it, right?
You tell the cancer, if I go, I'm taking you with me.
Exactly.
Right? Straight to hell.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need a gallbladder. The gall of that bladder.
To think he's needed.
Exactly.
I made these.
What did you lose? What organ?
A gallbladder.
Gallbladder. Yeah, that's right.
Well, solve his
I
goal.
got 3 nifty little poke holes in me, and then one in my belly button. That's the secret one. That one's just for me.
Straight to Narnia.
I mean, I'll show it to you sometime if you want.
If you each had a portal in your belly button to a location, where would it be? Not your choice.
Mos
My
Eisley.
butthole.
Boom, 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 boom.
We're being honest with ourselves.
Yeah, imagine not having to reach
No.
around to scratch your butt.
Yours would lead to Taco Bell
Why would it lead to Taco Bell?
because that's where your
That's your
belly
spawn
button
point.
leads.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Start yelling into Andy's
It's your
belly
origin
button.
story.
Give me a
Andy.
Crunchwrap Supreme.
Was spawned belly button first out of the ether.
I mean, I'd want mine to go to like Fort Knox. Just keep stealing gold
Yeah.
out of my fucking
Homie, there ain't
Little
no
nuggets.
gold in there.
just secrets.
I feel like Russ's would
lies.
go to a court of law. Like something needs to be judged. Josh's would go
Careful,
to...
homie.
Where would yours go to?
Careful.
A comedy club?
It'd go to my butthole for some reason.
Oh, no, go to a blood bank.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
You steal people's blood.
Josh is always a little bit leaky.
Oh, that's.
My blood button's going again.
Uh-oh.
I feel like mine would go someplace sad that would completely kill the mood. Like, it's not a specific place. Just like, oh, I didn't really want to end up here.
Man.
It's just an orphanage. Just occasionally reach in and pet
shut-
an orphan.
Surprisingly,
Like,
shut
also-
down.
poor orphan.
Also the
a
blood
shut
bank.
down orphanage where they ran out of people picking up the kids, so the kids had to be shipped elsewhere. Just the sign now closed.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Not
man.
getting my forever family. I'm
It's
just
just an
going
empty room.
someplace else.
Every time you reach in, it's a different empty room.
Oh.
Some
That
Kafka-esque
doesn't seem-
scenario.
It's
I lead
depressing, right?
directly to the
It is.
DMV when they're like overbooked. You know.
Oh.
Someone's going to put the dick on the other end of that hole.
Yeah. Or like some kind of like
You can have a dick pop out of your belly button. Like, oh, a stranger dick.
Well, that's when you poke it back.
That's not necessarily like depressing and sad though. That
It's a good
might
party
be
trick.
Fun. That would be a good party trick.
just want to see a penis come out.
I wonder if people who have
And
Audi.
shockingly, it's not mine.
You know, it's really easy to just show somebody a penis if you want to. Just
Yeah, but they expect it.
Yeah, but then,
Yeah, I mean, at this point, everyone knows I'm
Then
going to
it's
show
a-
them my penis.
Yeah.
then it's a crime. If you show someone else, someone else's
Joshua,
penis.
no. It's never a crime when someone sees my penis.
It's true.
It's like winning The Price is Right. I wonder if people with an Audi can like push it in temporarily and then like pop it out.
maybe.
Cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'd want it to be an interracial penis because the trick is really that it's like obviously not your penis.
Yeah.
So just a big black dong come out of my belly button. People be like, "What the fuck?"
Or a little Asian slong.
I mean, they might confuse that for mine. I don't know.
Just goes back and forth.
It can't be white. A strong tan, that'd be convincing.
Strong tan. I
Nice.
don't know what it is about
Mediterranean.
genital
I was,
skin.
I was just about to say, a nice Mediterranean wiener, you know?
You guys notice watching a lot of porn that a lot of genital skin is quite a bit darker than normal skin?
What now?
Genital skin tends to be of a darker color than the surrounding skin.
Because all the blood flow. I
I don't know why.
I mean,
I would assume.
it's a mixed bag.
I'm gonna Google it. I mean, you think of like,
Don't Google it.
dude, my internet history's fucking ruined. This is nothing.
Root.
Ruined. We got to fix the green screen a little bit.
Hey Google,
Could you
why is
give it a
genital
tug?
skin-
Give it a tug.
Give it a tug.
As long as you reach in my belly button.
We'll have to turn off the AC too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right in the urethra. Oof. That's,
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to give it the sideways slit, right?
Hormonal
horizontal.
changes, friction, age, sweating, lack of ventilation, and shaving.
Sweating?
Sweating is also one of the reasons why your image area is 2 shades darker than the rest of your body. Waste products found in sweat can change color and texture over time.
Oh.
Age, friction.
No.
Friction makes sense.
Sure.
I don't know why, but
I mean, if you rub your arm, it gets redder.
yeah.
Why not?
Josh over here can't handle the discussion of genital skin color.
We just got them all hot and bothered with that Mediterranean D.
He got hot and bothered by your tummy tickler.
Your tummy chuckler.
It's doing its job.
That's
It's hard
guys,
worker.
It's too much. It's too much.
This from with someone with
Yeah,
Southwest
he's
shame.
stealing your hair. Night. Well,
So you had a topic you wanted to open with?
what did I say? I already forgot. Talk about stealth
I mean,
games a little bit.
Have you
gear
tried doing
grinding.
it longer? That could be your problem. Maybe you just
Yeah,
do it
do
longer.
your hair longer.
Mhm.
That's your problem.
Yeah, it's a real commitment sometimes, but
Um,
yeah, you could give it a try.
Just
and
poll
then
it.
Talking about stuff. Probably
Yeah.
opening with gear grinding might be a good comedic re-entry.
Are you
When's
guys ready?
to start?
I am ready.
All right, we'll need a noise filler.
So back to gear grinding our gears. It's been a year and a half. Today I had 2 minutia moments that got me completely out of context enraged. The first, my mother was watching what's the Wayne Brady game show? Choose Deal or No Deal, right?
I didn't know he was
He's
doing a game
hosting
show.
that now?
Or yeah, I think with the Zonks.
Zonks.
I don't watch TV.
Okay, yeah, he's hosting a game show. Anyways, on this particular challenge, this woman had to place in order the release year of the Jeffersons, Three's Company, and some other show. They all came out in the 70s. She got the order wrong, but she had an opportunity to get her money back by correctly guessing within 3 years the release year of Different Strokes.
Mhm.
Now, the release years were 70, 75, and 77. So to a moderate, even finger-painting observer, all these years are in the 70s. The crowd immediately begins shouting out what year they think that Different Strokes, mind you, a sitcom about a black family, came out in. And this old black woman in the front row just says 1978, like doesn't even hesitate. And Wayne Brady's like, "Are you sure on that?" She's like, "I'm pretty darn sure." Remember, she has to be within 3 years of the release date, and she decides to say 1982. Right. After all these years are the 70s, she picks 1 year out of the 3-year range. Of course, it came out in 1978. The black woman was correct. And I was just irate at the fact that this woman didn't trust. If somebody yells out a random year, right, just trust them. Say 79, say 80, right? It's within 3 years. But that pissed me off. I had to leave the room. Secondly, I was going to the store today at an intersection. I went to cross the intersection, and there were 3 cars in my lane on the opposite side, completely in the wrong lane of traffic at Fred Meyer. Just sitting there. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? I honked my horn, I waved them, and they just sat there. And then the light changed back to red. It's like, what are you going to do? You're literally in the wrong lane of traffic.
Yeah.
And,
so
that was mind blowing.
So that Fred Meyer specifically is a fucking nightmare.
It's a
to
shit
drive
show.
in.
It is
That,
so bad.
That parking lot is what grinds my fucking gears, dude. Have you gotten gas there recently?
I just did today.
Good
Took
God.
25 minutes. I can't blame them. They're short staffed. Excuse me, because nobody wants to work, which is fair, COVID.
Yeah.
But they had they weren't doing the stretch over of the gas pump, reaching
That's called a
around
reach
the car.
around.
Yeah.
Which is fair, but it meant that every other car that came in was in the wrong orientation. And there was a guy.
Why weren't they doing the reach around?
I don't know. It said no reach arounds on the sign.
That's just common
That's
courtesy.
a shitty sign to have.
Exactly.
It's just a common courtesy.
You always give them the reach around.
There was a guy on staff there. It seemed like his entire job was to tell people they had to change lanes because they were in the wrong lane. And that's what he was doing the whole 20 minutes I was there. It's like, can you not read the sign? Apparently not. So,
Yeah, I don't know. It irritates me that they're not doing reach arounds.
yeah, I don't know why. I didn't like doing it as a gas station attendant because I was worried about like chipping paint and whatnot because you have to be pretty careful to get it in the right position. But like, that's not a real complaint.
I
if
also
you're
feel like
careful
it's the
about
driver's prerogative. If they're going to pull to the wrong side of the pump, then they're going to risk the fact that you're going to drape a fucking
it. Yeah, you would think.
thing across their car.
Yeah.
They've established at that gas station that you can do reach arounds.
Yeah, it makes sense that the people wouldn't think twice about doing it, but reach arounds. Let's just keep saying that phrase.
It's fantastic. I love that. That's what you guys are calling it. So
Yeah.
it's both appropriate and
fun.
dirty.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I went into the Albertsons at one point. I was in the wrong lane, and the guy was like, "You got to go to the other side." I'm like, "Oh, you can't bring it over." It's like, "Nope." And they didn't have the same style of pump, so I think it was actually a physical impossibility.
Yeah.
But you kind of expect it as possible wherever you go now.
Yeah.
It is our
Reach arounds
modern
have become too
future.
common.
If Americans know anything, it's that once one convenience has been introduced, you should expect it at every other location.
Everywhere. and
Available
every
all the
time.
time. Yep.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
how the free market works.
Yep.
Reach arounds for
Sorry,
free.
I thought this was
on the
America.
regular.
Reach arounds everywhere at all times.
you are correct. It is America.
Yeah.
I
What would
checked.
be the worst place to get a reach around?
A gas
as far as
station.
Question solved.
Any place I drank in my 20s.
Any place you drink now.
A retirement
that's
home.
true. That's true. It has.
A retirement home.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of dislocated shoulders.
Probably be tough on the old birds.
None of them have the endurance to get me where I'm going. It's going to be dissatisfying.
The orphanage.
Their hands are so
yes,
soft,
Thank you,
though.
chat.
but bony.
Yeah.
It's like masturbating with a warm chicken skin.
Don't king shame me.
No, 4 out of 10.
Gone over this.
Would not recommend.
Any other gear grinding?
I had a gentleman all by himself driving home today, standing on the side of the road next to the mall,
All by myself.
holding a sign that said, "Fuck Commie Kate Brown."
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm not opposed to people expressing their political beliefs.
Succinct.
I've talked with you guys and stuff about my uncertainty about what it is exactly Kate Brown has done to make these people this angry.
Yeah.
But really, what struck me about this is that I really wanted to stop and ask that guy, like, what does he like to do, like, in his life? What are the things that he enjoys? And did he ever once think about going out and holding up a sign saying, like, "I love fishing"? Because it's so indicative of, like, how, the internet operates and stuff. It's like you get somebody pissed off and they're going to go online, they're going to leave a bad review, they're going to rant and rage and stuff. And it's like, do you have no self-awareness? Like, the moment that you went out and you bought a big piece of paper or a poster board and you wrote some fucking angry message on it, and you're like, I'm not going to a meetup, I'm not going to some sort of rally, I'm just going to go stand on the
Central
sidewalk
Avenue.
on fucking Central to express how angry I am about this. And then, of course, I'd want to know, like, what did she do to make you this angry and stuff? But just
it's the righteous anger. It's like heroin. That feeling of I'm correct, therefore I get to be angry about it is fuel. It is the energy pylons of StarCraft. You need more of it, right?
I also had to deal with that huge anti-mask or vaccine mandate outside the hospital like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, right next to your work.
Yeah, right out in front. And
I would love, maybe I should do it. I should get off my lazy COVID ass. I want to see a list of anti-vaxxers or religious anti-vaxxers that have died from COVID. Just to curate
There's
list.
a website.
Is there?
It's called Sorry Anti-Vaxxer. And they just compile like people's Facebook pages and news articles about people that were anti-mask and anti-vax that have died now.
It seems like on the daily I see that Facebook post where it's like, it's not real. And then the next post is, I'm sorry, he's in the hospital,
I think it would be much more interesting to have a list of people who are in fact vaccinated, but are still suggesting you employ your freedom and
every politician
that's
like on the right side right now.
Or political pundit.
Like the fact that all the Fox employees have to be vaccinated
to even be in the building.
Yeah, but they sit there and talk anti-vax stuff on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes. What was the doublespeak, 1984? Is that what the term they used for that cognitive dissonance?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
There's I showed Sharon a breakdown and stuff like that because it's simple numbers game, and the numbers break down to like if you're unvaccinated, you have a 1 in 8 chance of getting COVID. Yeah. And if you're vaccinated, you have like a 1 in 13,000 chance of getting COVID. Because that's about how many breakthrough cases we've had after you've vaccinated. Well, based on how many people.
It's like 99-point-something% of people dying right now from COVID are unvaccinated. If that overwhelming number doesn't speak for itself, like you're not going to win. Like you're not going to convince anybody. If that
I'm
number
pretty sure
doesn't
it's an issue if people don't understand numbers.
Yeah, I was going to point out, like, you have to be legitimately honest. A lot of people, when you get into numbers in that range and you deal with fractions and percentage and possibilities, probabilities, they don't understand it. Yeah. So one thing, this isn't entirely correct, but a boiled down version of some facts I saw was that if you are vaccinated and you get COVID, imagine reaching into a bag with 20 marbles. If you grab the one wrong marble, you die from COVID. If you're unvaccinated, 19 of those 20 marbles kill you. One of them doesn't. It's literally almost the opposite. Right? That's a good way to imagine, like, my odds are 1 in 20 of dying from COVID or 19 in 20 if I'm not vaccinated. It's a very stark difference between the two. And I feel like when you're talking with people that are hesitant about that, you got to put it in terms they understand. Anybody can understand reaching into a bag of marbles, right?
Yeah. And so having listened to, I'm going to shout out Behind the Bastards podcast right now because it's phenomenal and I highly recommend it.
It is. It's wonderful.
They did a 2-part episode on ivermectin. And I was always kind of on the fence about whether or not ivermectin was even supposed to be an effective treatment or anything like that. But really what it comes down to is like just the science hadn't been done yet on whether or not it's effective for treating symptoms or even as a preventative measure.
Okay.
But what strikes me so much about people doing the ivermectin and stuff like that is really just the fact that, say it works, and it is a good substitute and stuff like that. Their whole argument for not taking the vaccine is like a mistrust of the sources of information that they're getting. But then they go and decide to trust an even sketchier, less backed up form of information. Like, I mean, how do they not see the own like dissonance in that? It blows my mind.
I think it just boils down to once something becomes a part of your ideology and anti-vax, regardless of context and importance and like legitness, once something is there and a part of your mentality, you're going to be against it. And it doesn't have to make sense anymore.
It's the new way to own the libs.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, confirmation
have at
bias
it, Haas.
is just a very powerful thing that most people operate every day of their lives under. So
everybody does it. It's
that's
a human thing.
But that's okay. So you do say that, and I do. I definitely acknowledge that I have confirmation bias. But I feel like what elevates my typical rundown of information and stuff is that I'm aware that I'm going to have a confirmation bias. So I'm doubly diligent about what it is that I'm reading and try to analyze it from a different, like, trying to take into consideration my own confirmation bias to get even more concrete evidence on stuff, because I know that, like, yeah, on surface value, I'm going to want to believe this is true. But, you know, well, let's look at this study. How deep was it? How many people did they have using it? You know, and
I've always thought if I had a wish, you know, like if you get one wish from a genie and you had to use that wish to better the world, what would be the best wish? What's your best and slot wish for that? And my thinking is always, if I could get people to think that everything they knew, they assumed they were wrong before they were proved otherwise, in all aspects, would completely change humanity on like a fundamental level. If you come from that kind of a
say it again for me.
The notion that you assume at some level that everything you believe has a chance to be wrong. Like, I'm going to start this conversation from the assumption that I'm wrong until I see enough evidence that my original opinion is correct, right? You can always assume that gravity is going to be gravity, but especially if you're coming across something new, assume you're wrong, right? That's just a great way to live your life, because worst case scenario, you're right? And then you get to find that out. And it's that mentality is not common. And
couldn't you apply that to, like, if you were going to step out into thin air and you're like, I know that I'm going to plummet to my death, but then you're like, I'm going to assume that I'm wrong.
Let's just see what happens. And that's the whole scientific method, is test things out. Don't assume anything.
And that's how the sport of cliff diving was invented.
Yeah, extreme cliff diving.
My wish is to eliminate greed. You eliminate greed, I think you solve everything.
Yeah, greed, or force people to be empathetical, or reduce the need for violence, you know.
It's just concise. Like, I feel like almost everything can be traced back to some form of greed.
Yeah, greed, fear. There's a lot of base human lizard brain bullshit that keeps us where we're at.
Anywho,
on a lighter topic, Arcane Lyon has recently put out a new game called Deathloop. They are known for Dishonored and a few other games, Arx Vitalis, that nobody but me has played.
True.
Dishonored continues the long legacy of stealth games. This one was, I would say, like a steampunk kind of setting. Deathloop is not a stealth game like Dishonored was, so I'm going to leave that by the wayside. Really cool game, possible game of the year. That's kind of general setting is BioShock and Dishonored had a baby in the 1960s. It's directed by Quentin Tarantino, and it takes place in the movie Groundhog Day.
That's what I was going to say. Like, to explain something badly, it looks like maybe like a Far Cry kind of a style shooting game with that was made in Groundhog Day. Yeah, I was going to say, to explain something badly. Yeah.
I just think it's funny that the dichotomy between Nick's description of what the game is and yours is like, Nick describes that game and I'm like, holy fuck, I need to play that game. And then you come in and I'm like, nah, I'll pass. Far Cry Groundhog Day versus Quentin Tarantino BioShock.
I cannot begrudge Josh. I thought of that phrase earlier today. But yeah, the general idea is you wake up on an island and you don't know why you're there, and all you know is that you need to kill. Right now, the idea is that this island resets every day, and a bunch of rich entrepreneurs have showed up to have an infinite party. They party every night, and then time resets. And there are 8 important figures that to get off the island, you need to kill them all in the same day.
Stop looking at me.
Let's all look at Russ. One of the important persons is trying to stop you. So you play this game a lot like Hitman in the sense that you have this kind of open island, and it's split into 4 time segments, like morning, early afternoon, and evening. And you have to essentially play through and learn the patterns and where these important people are going to be in such a way that you eventually play through the same day over and over again until you can kill them all in the same day. There's a little bit of Dark Souls in there, and that if you turn it on, it's an option to turn it on or off. Other players can be that antagonist that tries to stop you, and they can act as any enemy in the game. They essentially have like a mirage, so they can jump out, out of nowhere. The game looks really neat.
Wait, hold on. Other players?
So you never, I don't think, played Dark Souls, but you had invaders in Dark Souls.
Yeah, no, I am.
You know that concept. So you're fighting grunts in this Deathloop game, and there's in the single player version, there's this chick who's trying to stop you, and you have the option of turning on a thing so that real players can be that person. So as opposed to playing against an NPC, you can actually be actively antagonized and thwarted by a real other player.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, neat idea.
Seems neat and irritating.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
But in a
again,
good way.
thankfully, unlike Dark Souls, the earlier iterations, you can turn that off if you don't want to be invaded like that. From what I've seen, a little of the gameplay, it's not nearly as stealth heavy as Dishonored in the previous games was, but it got me thinking. I've played Dishonored. I've played Dishonored 2. Personally, and I was talking to Russ about this outside, I have to remember that my likes, enjoyments, and things about video games are very different from most people. But when I'm playing a stealth game and it wants me to stealth and it penalizes me for not stealthing, it almost ensures that I'm going to save scum, right? Which can immediately kill any enjoyment I have of a game where I spend 20 minutes trying to perfect an area, silently dropping everybody without alerting a guard, and then something either in or out of your control causes you to alert the guards, you fuck up, oh, now I got to start all over, right? Dishonored had a neat system that I think fought against itself, where the more people you killed throughout the entire storyline would change the end game story. You would cause more and more chaos that would essentially devolve the city into a violent situation. So you had the freedom to go loud, essentially, and kill people, but you're not going to get the quote-unquote good ending. And for me, when I was playing through Dishonored 2, especially, I was really enjoying it, but I'm trying so hard not to get alerted or kill anybody because I decided that's what I wanted to do. And if I decided in a stealth game at the beginning, that, okay, I'm going to stealth, then I'm not going to give up until I fail, right? And then you get to situations where you get into a hard area or you saved at the wrong time. And I lost interest about halfway through for that reason. And I think back to, I looked it up, 1998 is this random year where Tenchu, Stealth Assassin, Metal Gear Solid 1, and Splinter Cell all came out in the same year.
Wow.
They are not the first stealth games,
Sure.
but they are the ones that made it popular.
Sneaky
and by
boys.
a completely almost random chance, not really, because Splinter Cell was kind of made to be a counter to the then unleashed Metal Gear Solid, we had these amazing games come out that completely defined what we think of as a stealth game.
Yeah.
And they went to extreme lengths to make sure that on a meta fourth wall level, you as a player knew exactly where enemies' vision cones were, how long you had until the guards would drop their alert. They would give you visual representations through iconography of how alert the guards were, right? They made it almost seemingly obvious and easy to stealth in those games. And on top of that, I don't really remember there being some kind of meta level downside to going loud other than your character was not equipped for it. It was much like a Dark Souls game in that if you were stealthy, you had the upper hand. But the moment you get caught, especially in Thief, you would get mollywopped, right? You could not take on the guards, or in like Splinter Cell, you get surrounded by guards with the guns, they'd fuck you up. And I'm wondering what kind of took that away from us, because modern day stealth games almost seem to always have this huge bonus, whether it's meta or not, to being stealthy the whole time. And it just seems to me to fight itself, right? If you're going to make a stealth game, give me every opportunity and option to be stealthy, and penalize me from not being stealthy by a lack of bonuses, not necessarily an additional negative. Does that make sense? Carrot instead of stick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have played any stealth games recently. There's been kind of a new wave of indie games, the side-scrolling stealth games. Mark of the Ninja came out 5-10 years ago, I think. And then there was, what was the heist game? Monaco was kind of a stealth game. But do you guys have any memory of, like, Deus Ex would be another kind of good example of a game where you can go stealthy. I remember collecting like all the ammo for the super big gun and never using it.
Right.
I was actually thinking of Deus Ex in my head because it has the stealth option in that game, but I always felt like if you took the stealth option in that game, the game got easier and less fun to play because you didn't have access to most of the like weapons and upgrades. You're never going to use them.
Let me understand. It was easier to stealth.
Yeah, it was easier to just play the game through stealth. You
I
just less
never
interactions and stuff like that. You just crawl through vents all the time and be invisible. And
for me, what I remember being the interesting choice, because I'm always looking for interesting choices in games, was there was a limited amount of ammo, especially in the first half of the newer Deus Ex games, for your non-lethal weapons, right? You could always, if you unlocked the ability, go up there and like choke them out. But as far as your taser went and whatnot, you had a limited choice. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on 5,000 rounds of some machine gun ammo that I didn't want to get rid of because of that gamer need to keep things that I never ended up using. I don't think I ever played a Deus Ex game loud. Just, I didn't.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
And that's the thing. And I was missing it. And I knew the whole time, I'm like, man, if only I could just use these cool abilities. Like one of the abilities, you got like the mini bullet rockets from your wrists or whatever it was. And
Whistling birds.
yeah, essentially whistling birds. And, you know, why are we still designing games where you're forcing a player to pick one path or the other? I guess if they want you to play through a game more than once, and again, we've gone over, I don't do that.
Yeah.
So that's probably my issue.
You know, game has a really, I mean, this is probably not accurate. People like stealth games, but I like the stealth mechanics is all the Arkham Knight games.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
and I was going to mention,
really
those are
fun,
taken
just like,
almost identically from Tenchu.
yeah, so it's like, I mean, it's really easy just to hide again after the enemy's alerted. You just got to wait a little bit. So, but you got to pop out, unleash a bunch of fucking bat foo on somebody's ass,
Whoop some ass.
fucking
and
duck
then
back
right
into a vent again, be all sneaky like, ha ha ha, motherfucker, you can't find me. Yeah, like that was a lot of fun. Those games are just
Those games are just
They're a
fun.
hoot.
And I think one good thing, besides the many other good things the Arkham Knight games did, is that if you did get caught, you could go loud because you're fucking Batman.
Yeah, you're Batman.
And you would
Exactly.
beat the shit out of them. So not only are you rewarded for being stealthy with that, haha, I got you, but if things go south, you're like, haha, I'm Batman. Now I'm going to kick your ass.
Are the Assassin's Creed games stealth games?
I mean,
Like,
which
yes.
one? You have to pick.
So I've
A few of them, I guess. 1, 2, and 3.
The last one I played, like I don't even think you like ever stealth.
So the last one I played,
played the Rome one, right? Odyssey.
Odyssey, the Greek one. I really liked the skin it was in, so I was able to play it
Set
for a
and
while.
setting.
Yeah, like that classic Greek
Old person
setting.
grip, yeah.
But I mean,
To be fair, I played.
How-
I think the last time I played an Assassin's Creed, it's referred to as like one of the worst that they've done, which is
Was it the Victorian England one?
it's the Revolutionary War one. It's where they first introduced. You played as the Native American kid,
Oh, yeah.
which was great
played
and
that
stuff.
one
But
for a little bit.
they introduced the like fucking Farmville shit in the middle of the game.
Oh yeah.
And then they also teased the boat combat stuff.
Yeah.
But really, the game was like play some Farmville and do some escort missions, and like literally, if you were on top of any building, is what I remember from this game, and I could be wrong, but like there's always guards on top of like every building, and as soon as you're on top of a building, someone's like, get the fuck off this building, otherwise we're gonna kill you. And I'm
what
like,
a game design choice, right?
like you're so
Yeah.
used to playing all the other Assassin's Creeds, like I climb buildings and shit, and they're like, no,
Not
we
allowed.
station guards on every rooftop to prevent people like you.
Josh, do you remember stealthing much in Odyssey?
yeah, like because there was a real benefit, like because at a certain point, like you wanted to get the commanders, like that give the bonuses to people that have like the blocks and all that stuff. So you'd
Okay.
wind up killing the commanders because that like dropped the overall score for an area because there was like the whole Peloponnese War as the backdrop. So the Athenians and the Spartans are fighting. So you pick one side in this thing. You can kind of play around with both or whatever.
Now, let me rephrase. Stealthing as a means to an end, or stealthing in general? Like, it's one thing to stealth up until the point where you get the drop on a general and then you go loud, as opposed to, I need to spend the next 20 minutes stealthing past guards, watching patrols, making sure I don't get seen so I can get to the point where I can then assassinate someone. Because that's what I remember from the first and kind of second Assassin's Creed games was you really didn't want to ever get into a fight. If you could sneak the whole time, get up there, assassinate the guy, and get out, that was the perfect scenario.
Yeah, that ideally that's what you do. Is like you don't need to kill a bunch of fucking guards. Like it's best if you can just get to the center of like the fucking area, steal some shit on the accessories on your way, murk one or two motherfuckers on your way through, and then get the big boy.
Yeah. And that's kind of
The
where
big
you,
end.
yeah, you get into game-based design choices. Like if you reward a player for killing chump cards, they're going to do it. And that's going to change the fundamental
But I mean,
design of your game.
I wouldn't say
It sounds like that wasn't the case in this.
I wouldn't say it was necessarily because you're like the fucking hero, right? So like you have all the blocks and shit. So like it could get like a little bit hairy if you were facing like 6 dudes or.
I mean, that's been Assassin's Creed for a while.
Yeah, but it's like one-on-one
parry
combat
system stuff.
against even like against a scrub or even like a mid-level guy was no fucking issue. You just murk him.
Just counter.
This
until you-
does kind of lead into Assassin's Creed being an Ubisoft game. Couple things. One, public record, fuck Ubisoft.
Yep.
Two, some of the designers, developers, people from Ubisoft have recently left and started their own company, and their first public PR was, we can't wait to make games that are not Ubisoft games because we don't like them and fuck them. Like, they distance themselves from moment one. Like, thank you, because, you know, there's always a reason to enjoy a given like Assassin's Creed game, but they have beat this horse to death. And I know, you know, the grinding of XP in Odyssey was a huge issue.
Eventually, that's what fucking killed it. It's like, okay, go to the next fucking thing, do the next fucking thing,
And the reason they did
kill
that,
the next fucking guy.
I'm
kill
sure
the next
you
fucking
saw,
guy.
you could pay money, real money, to skip that. You could unlock, I don't remember what the term they was, but there's a big issue where they added in all this grinding, but then if you paid in the microtransactions, the MTX, you could skip that. And it's like, oh man, what a low blow to put into something like Assassin's Creed. But who knows? We'll see where this new company goes. I will try to add it in the show notes. Remember the name of the company afterwards.
I don't have the company, but a couple of I thought was an interesting game. It's called Lost in Random. And so you're going to be playing this girl named Even who's looking for her sister. Odd.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
Right. But you have your little sidekick. It looks like a little D6 guy. And so it looks like the game is going to be it's incorporating a lot of fun things. I think it's going to make I think it's going to be one to watch, and it has some really neat stylistic choices.
Are you saying that your companion looks like a 6-sided die?
He's
Yeah, he's a
you
D6.
Google it.
Your companion is straight up a D6.
Gotcha.
And
Arms and legs.
and as you do the tactile combat and take down the dudes, you get power ups which allow you to roll your fucking your D6.
I'm getting some Psychonaut vibes from the images I'm seeing.
And you're also collecting cards in the game, and those are like special bonus power ups that you get to use when you roll dicey. And so it looks, the world looks.
Hope to God that's not his name.
I don't think it's his name. It might be his name. I'm not sure. The world looks a lot of fun. It has I feel like what is clear Tim Burton inspirations. Now I don't want to like.
So
That sounds like Psychonauts.
the lead writer from this game is the guy who did the webcomic Dinosaur Comics,
Really?
and he also did the Adventure Time comic book and Squirrel Girl.
Okay.
So the lead writer, nobody on the podcast is going to know Dinosaur Comics. I don't think.
I know
But
Dinosaur Comics.
Andy and I grew up reading webcomics. What a fucking throwback! But
I mean, so did I. I still haven't heard of Dinosaur Comics.
you might recognize it if I showed it to you. But yeah, it does look pretty neat.
It looks like it's going to have like a large amount of a storytelling aspect for it, but I think all the different styles of combat that they're going to have in there with the collecting, and the tactile combat, I think it's going to be interesting.
I do know Dinosaur Comics.
Yeah, it is being published by EA.
See, now that I didn't know that one. That one makes me angry.
Well-
See, I don't like.
More importantly, is the developer.
Yes.
Looks like it's Zoink. What has Zoink made?
I mean, is that more important?
I mean, I'm glad that EA doesn't have its hands on KOTOR, so there's something.
It's something we can all.
Well,
be happy
I know,
about.
but you're saying that's the
developer of the game, to me, is going to have a lot more influence on the game than the publisher. The publisher's just there for money, marketing, and that kind of
right,
stuff.
but the publisher usually ends up putting pressure on the developer to make a shitty fucking game. They're the ones that rush games, put in microtransactions. They're the ones.
True,
that are like,
but the
hey,
developer is the one who makes the game in the first place. So that's all I was getting at. I don't recognize any of their previous works. They look like little titles, so we'll see. Lost in Random seems to be like one of
And
their...
then to welcome in spooky season, yay!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting pumpkin coffees. There's pumpkins, but to welcome
There's pumpkins.
There's pumpkin.
There's pumpkins.
it's in my coffee.
And his bed.
It's a roguelike game. It's called Rogue Lords. It's fun there.
Oh.
But it looks like you play as Satan, and then sending off, and then you get to send off your little minions to go collect other monsters to do all the other things. It looks like a really fun way to bring in spooky season. Plus, there's all the monsters that are open source monsters, so you're going to get like Frankenstein's monster and Dracula.
I actually watched one of my YouTubers play this game. Yeah, the Headless Horseman.
Yes,
Dracula.
It
It does look pretty neat. I watched him play a little bit. You essentially run through like these old villages. Those are your like stopping points, like you'd get in Slay the Spire, and then. Yeah, it's all about the fact that you're playing these badass undead and heroes like that. So, terror abilities, draining life, that kind of stuff. It looked like a pretty good, solid roguelike.
Yeah, a fun way to ring in spooky season.
So this was Rogue Lords.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue Lords, yes. It looked like a fun way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah. I played a few games recently. Trying some out. Like I said, we talked about Splitgate. I have tried getting into Psychonauts 2. So far, so good, but I've only played very minute amount of it.
Yep.
One I did play all the way through, which actually surprised me, was 12 minutes. And it made me think of it when you guys
not heard of it.
When you talk about like Deathloop and stuff, it kind of reminded me of that because it's a puzzle game where you get locked in essentially your apartment, and in a certain amount of time, a cop shows up.
Kind of escape the roomie.
I mean, I imagine so. The cop shows up, he's going to arrest your wife and kill you, and you have 12 minutes to like figure out how to.
Man, it sounds like a Colin Farrell movie, homie.
It's got William Dafoe as a voice actor, Daisy Ridley as a voice actor.
Ooh.
It doesn't look super great. I am playing on the potato. So it might look better on other stuff, but it's not required. It's literally just a puzzle game.
From what I saw, the camera angle is top down from the apartment ceiling the whole time.
Yep.
That looks pretty neat.
Yeah. I was legitimately surprised. I downloaded it. I was like, is this going to pique my interest? And then like, it's all I did for the next like 8 hours was try to fucking beat this game. And it was satisfying to finally get it figured out.
Yeah.
And then another one I tried, and it's actually a good recommendation, I think, for us to maybe try as a group is Ascent.
Yeah. Oh man, Adam and I've been like debating whether to spend our little money on picking that up.
Do you guys not have Game Pass?
No.
Okay, because like I'm pretty sure it's on the Game Pass. I think it's where
I'm not.
So Ascent, from what I could tell, and I barely stuck my toe in, just kind of get a feel for the game. Top down, set in a cyberpunk-y setting. Where I'm pretty sure you're in like a giant tower.
Super grimy. Arcology kind of.
Yeah. And I imagine the game progresses, you're trying to get to like the top of the tower, but you start off as like a indentured servant, and you're like, you got to go clean out the fucking shit tubes, and you go there and there's like creatures that are popping up, and you kill them in almost like a Gauntlets Legends kind of style.
Oh man,
thing.
that's a throwback.
And you can play with 4 players at the same time. Now on the Xbox, it was kind of I haven't played a lot of top-down games and stuff where you control like what direction you're shooting simultaneously.
It's called a twin stick shooter.
Yeah,
Twin stick. Yep.
Yeah, I knew you guys would know that.
That looks pretty dope.
It seemed like it might be kind of fun for us to dick around, try it out, see if it's fun to play 4-player.
Adam and I, when we looked it up, the game's getting amazing reviews, but at launch, the multiplayer was extremely buggy. People were having an issue, like not only forming a lobby, but staying in a game.
Sure.
The developers were aware of it. They were fixing it. That was like a week or 2 ago. So we'll check back in once they've got that finished. We can give it a shot.
Yeah, no, I am totally down for that. But I feel like we need to circle back a little bit. You kind of just threw out a little taste,
morsel,
a little morsel. KOTOR remaster, that was brought up, and then we just kind of zipped on through on a little bit of a grind there. I think we should I mean, there's very, 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 very little, but the confirmation I feel like is big news. EA doesn't have their hands in it. Also, BioWare. It was
Bethesda.
Was the original? No, who's the original?
Oh.
It's BioWare.
It's
It's BioWare originally, yeah.
Also, BioWare is not involved. It looks like it's mostly PlayStation and Zephyr. If I was reading, Zephyr did. They've done ports mostly.
Yeah.
This is their first, like.
It's rarely going to be the same studio that makes that does a remaster. It's usually given to a third party.
I mean, like.
Aspyr. ASP.
Asper, not Zephyr. Sorry.
Ass smear.
Hopefully it's not. So we've been talking about this off stream and everything like that because it's been kind of news for KOTOR because we have like most of us very much enjoyed playing KOTOR.
Very much so.
And I was talking to Andy about it. My take on it is this: I very much loved KOTOR, and I like the KOTOR 2.
Have you given it a replay recently?
That's the thing. I haven't touched that game since it came out when it was new. Because when I got it, I played it enough to where I was satisfied with it, and I haven't been tempted to re-pick it up again. And we touched briefly on us playing any sort of remastered games. And I mean, Nick talks about how he doesn't play through a game more than once. I'm unlikely to pick up a remastered game. I did think there's one game that I thought of finally that I played a remastered version of, and it was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Well,
Yeah. Like I bought that, and I was like, this is great because it's literally the exact same game just with updated graphics, and I can go
you
back.
should have just waited for Skatebird. Skatebird came out this month.
Josh,
First of
that's
all,
your
it's like a lot of fun.
first strike.
You know how I feel about birds.
I know, but they're in a video game, so they're definitely not real. But you get to Tony Hawk Pro Skater do 6 skateboard tricks as a pigeon.
they're
Who
never
doesn't
real
love that?
anyways.
Anyway, Skatebird.
It's
going to be fun.
I am just disgruntled
That's game
with
of the
you.
year.
You just
Continue,
ruined my
Russ.
mood.
You know
with
what
your
grinds
fucking
my
birds.
gears?
Fucking birds. That's
Dude,
what grinds my
dude,
gears.
Fucking
right.
birds.
This is like the big. I don't know. I recently just played a remaster. I played through all of the Mass Effects again, even the first one, which was.
Did they remaster the Mass Effects, or did they just re-release them?
They remastered them. Like it was pretty to play through. Even the first one was really pretty. Like there's still a bit of that.
The first Mass Effect was fucking stupid.
It's fucking hard to get through the storyline.
It's just fucking stupid.
Beautiful.
The first Mass Effect is why I didn't touch any other Mass Effects.
It's
Same.
because you had to fucking drive around a lot.
Was it? No. Okay. So my play experience of the first Mass Effect was, okay, I'm playing an RPG. I'm going to treat this like most RPGs that I'm playing. When you get to the Citadel, I'm going to talk to everybody because I want to get whatever side quests that I can started. I'm concerned about progressing my NPC's dialogue because I don't want to miss out on NPC storylines. And I spend like an ungodly amount of time because there's a million fucking NPCs on the Citadel just randomly talking to everybody and stuff. Turns out, got nothing. It was a waste of fucking time. All the armor and weapons in that game is just numbers upgrades.
Yeah.
They all look identical. I think maybe sometimes you get a color scheme change, but they look identical. If I'm playing a game where I level my character up and I get new gear, gear's got to look fucking different. It's just a hard rule. Do not just have me keep upgrading the same fucking basic bitch gear the entire time. Sometimes I feel like wearing spike boots. Sometimes I want to wear some furry Uggs. It's just how it's going to be. Lastly, the Simon Says puzzle game on dropping your rover on all the planets was a fucking waste of time.
Yep.
No, it was rough. It was rough. The next 2 games, they solved some of that shit. I feel like it's a smooth, like it's smoother.
It's to me, this is like the Skyrim debate. And I mean, I've already established I hate Skyrim, but Skyrim on launch versus Skyrim, I don't know how long, like X amount of time later when they made a bunch of improvements to it, it's like 2 different games. And so, Mass Effect, I mean, it's literally a second game, but good for them if they fix a lot of stuff. My play experience was so bad the first time through, and I was so dissatisfied, it killed my enjoyment of the series.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me too. I had like the identical experience to you. I just did not like the first one. So not liking the first one means I'm not going to get into a second one.
I'd see for me the story was able to carry me through. I was able to. I mean, am I going to play the first one again now that I've played it remastered? God, I hope not. But I would definitely play the second and third one again.
Mass Effect games kind of have that problem where excuse me, the story is really, really good. And you have to almost, in my opinion, fight the game the whole time to experience the story. I played all 3 of them, only the second one, I think, to completion. But yeah, like there's, in any Western CRPG, you're going to have like that. You're going to have little niggling issues, but it's a slog, and especially with the newest Andromeda release being a shit show, I just feel bad for the really big Mass Effect fans, which I have a few in my life, and they still like them, right? Because you're going to follow that to the end of the.
I haven't played Andromeda because I don't want the other games to be ruined.
Did any of you play Outer Worlds?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Oh my God.
It felt like someone took a BioWare game and made it out of milk.
They took half a BioWare game.
That's what
It was so lukewarm. I got 10 hours into it and couldn't play another hour.
My first playthrough, I was doing lots of shit, trying to do lots of stuff, soaking it in. I'm like at hour maybe 15. It might have made it to 16. I might be being a little under generous there. But like all of a sudden I was in this conversation and I was like, I think the game's about to end.
Yep.
And I don't care, right?
Yeah.
I was like, man, I think the game's about to end. And Mike like took off his headphones and he's like, that can't be right. You've only been playing for about 2 days. I was like, yep. It's game's over. And I literally clicked the button 2 more times and the game fucking ended. Roll credits. I was like,
did you try Outer Worlds, Andy?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Now let's not confuse this with Outer Wilds, which came out at almost the exact same time.
Right,
Two different games.
Right.
We all know what we're talking about.
Volcano,
Like,
Dante's Peak.
you start, there's like a corporate town that's having.
It's Fallout,
Yeah.
but
Kind of
shittier.
sci-fi space Fallout.
Yeah. I'm already not a huge fan of pretty much anything Bethesda.
Yeah.
So
Never been your jam.
no, I just don't care,
Was
man.
Outer Worlds also Bethesda? That's right. We were
Yeah.
hyped because wasn't it the same people that made New
Well,
Vegas?
Yes.
yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So it was Onyx Studios, is that right?
I think so. That sounds correct to me.
But yeah, it was the New Vegas guys.
Okay.
Which, like I remember being really, really fucking hyped up for that.
Obsidian Entertainment.
Obsidian, yeah.
That's the.
A different kind of Black Rock.
I'm trying to. I lost interest so quickly in that game.
Yeah.
I still think about reasons why that game wasn't enjoyable because it seemed on the surface that it should have been ticking a lot of my enjoyment boxes.
Yeah.
My best guess that I've come up with so far and stuff is really the fact that the dialogue sucks.
The dialogue sucked. The game had no personality.
That's what I mean. Like,
it's like it couldn't figure out what it wanted to be and how it wanted the dialogue to happen, and it couldn't decide on a theme.
yeah, like Fallout works because I mean, for the most part, Fallout's a fairly generic world. You run into the same character models. There's not a lot of variance and stuff like that, and it's a big wasteland.
Yeah.
The writing is amazing.
The writing's great,
Yes.
and it's the surprise, unexpected factor of the things that you're going to run into while you're out there. And they took like all of that away. Like there was like no running into weird random shit kind of stuff happening there. It's like it wanted to be like a serious game, but then everything was colored and animated to be like a kind of a goofy weird game.
What made you like? Hey, you mentioned that Simon Says dropping in the fucking hot drop for Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
Outer Worlds it was essentially like, okay, go to the planet. It looks a little bit different. Otherwise it's the same fucking planet. You're going to go to the base. It may have the same layout as a base you've already fucking been to. Like, it was a lot of that shit. It was very, like, a lot of the times I was like, this doesn't feel like a different fight. Like, sure, the planet's colored different,
Yeah.
but I'm rising up the same hill to battle the same fucking dude. Like,
Well, so Nick and I were talking about
I think that it's very cookie cuttery. It felt to me. Bad dialogue.
it
not
hits on this
enjoyable.
bigger problem. So if Nick and I are talking about how it's baffling that certain games can be made so poorly when we've had games for so long and we know what general things will make for a good game. And I think about an RPG game where you go do quests and stuff like that. It's so well known that it is commonly a meme for when you're thinking about like RPG games of like getting fetch quests and how they're dumb and they don't make any sense, and they don't fit into storylines. And you'd think that a good game would have progressed past doing quests that are just essentially like, hey man, I need you to go get me 3 fucking bear asses before I can give you the MacGuffin so that you can proceed. And that's what all of Outer Worlds felt like. Was just fetch quest after fetch quest for people like, I've never met you, I don't know what the fuck you have to give me, but you need me to go do a thing for you. And I'm like, why? Why am I doing this?
If I had to point my finger at where I started to die in that game, like immersion-wise and wanting to play it, is just like the first Mass Effect. You get through the first couple hours of the game and you get dumped into the first city. And like almost any Western RPG, you're like, okay, now I have to go explore the city. And in good games, that's exciting and fun. In bad games, you're like, okay, I need to check every nook and corner to make sure that I'm picking up all the quests, I'm finding all the loot. And in that first major city, by the time I was done, like feeling like I explored it, I was so burnt out on how many games have I played where I've done this before?
That's what it felt
and like you were saying, like, okay, do I need to talk to this guy to start a quest? Okay, where's the next? And yeah, you know, the game definitely had a good theme, and they were kind of mixing that corporate theme with sci-fi, and it's like I like the feel and the canvas of the game, but the painting itself is nothing. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
You know,
The best part about that game was its fucking hype.
I feel like if it's a team that made New Vegas, they brought everyone over except for the comedians, like the writers.
The writers.
My brother at length about this. Like, it just blows me away how much poor writing there is in games nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stop bringing bad writers into your games. They can't be the most expensive part of your game development. Why can't they just hire some decent fucking writers?
Segue into a game that I think has fantastic writers. It's Borderlands.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm a big fan of the Borderlands franchise.
Love it.
I have played all of them.
Even the 2.5?
Which one's 2.5?
The one where you get to where Jack's
The one
Jack
before
is
3.
Yeah.
As you play as Handsome Jack?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. And to be fair, I haven't played all the way through the first one because the first one fucking sucks. But Tiny Tina's Wonderland got announced coming out next year.
It looks like a lot of fun.
It's taking some of my favorite aspects from the Borderlands series. Like Tiny Tina was a fantastic character that they introduced, and then the whole concept of like them playing a D&D campaign style thing in the game made for a fantastic environment to run around in, because now instead of like we've done the space thing, like we've done it with we deal with the psychos, we deal with the corporations and stuff like that. It's like there's ways that they've done that keeps it kind of fresh. I think about the last Borderlands and stuff where you got to be introduced more into the different corporations like owners, so like the Jacobs Company, and stuff like that was great.
That was
We've
neat.
Done, of course, I forget the guy's name. The Macho Man Randy Savage guy from the corporation that makes all the explodey weapons.
Fucking
Timor?
Tedior? No, it's not Tedior.
no, that's the warp guns.
Come on, somebody chime in here with the company.
I'm trying to check chat. My brother might know it here.
Anyhow, this game has me really excited. One, because I'm ready to play another Borderlands. It's been long enough since I played. But it's got almost the entire thing has got that kind of fantasy game feel. Like did you guys watch a trailer for it?
I have, yes.
Nick?
I have not seen it.
Andy?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well, Andy's not super particular into the Borderlands games.
Yep.
One, open world, because I know he's not a big fan of those. But really, is that probably all it is? It's just kind of the fact that it's an open world game that has you motivation kills?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly prefer linearity over open world games most of the time.
He got his fill on open world when he played Zelda for the 64. And after that,
Honestly,
pretty much
downhill from there.
Honestly, kind of. Because, since Majora's Mask, I haven't finished a Zelda game. So that's kind of accurate.
I haven't finished a Zelda game since Wind Waker, and it makes me a little sad. I kind of want to buy a Wii just so I can catch up on the Zelda games. Not a Wii, a Switch.
Torg.
Thanks,
Mr.
Grandma.
Torg.
Just buy a Weeb, and they'll tell you how the game went.
That's true.
I think Borderlands would be another fun group play. Just
Absolutely.
because
Borderlands is always more fun with more people.
Yeah, and it's a thing we could do with the 4 of us.
I'll play pretty much anything.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Borderlands again.
Okay, well, we'll get
Why
Hinson
not?
in. What if it's 3? Have you
Because
played 3?
I played it, and that game is 90% grinding, and it was enjoyable, and I'm not going to do it again.
That's fair.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
There is a lot of grindiness in that game. Especially if you start playing like the end game stuff where you're literally just trying to grind for better gear. But that's, I mean, what end game isn't just a grind for gear?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Most of the time,
I was gonna say though, I like the fact that it looks like they're combining in the trailer. It looks like you got like dual fistedness, kind of. I guess I'll say Elder Scrolls and not Skyrim because fuck that game. Where like they're casting fucking spells with one hand and shooting people with their guns in the other one. And it excites me.
fun. It looks fun.
And I saw Butt Stallion, so you know it's gonna be gold.
The comedy in that game.
I mean, exactly. It's
That's
over
what
the
makes
top. It's wonderful. It makes it a lot of fun. And like the idea is that they're running with something that's going to feel familiar, but there's a little innovation in there, a little twist, give you something a little bit new flavor, keep that classic going, you know.
Speaking of comedy, I might have already mentioned this on the podcast tonight, and I forgot. But I think it's worth noting that Twisted Metal, the video game, they're making a TV show out of it, and I think I've forgotten to mention that the writers from it, the writers are the same people who wrote for Deadpool.
Oh, interesting.
That's a big up for that. We'll
Yeah.
see how that plays out. Same publishing company that Will Arnett does, Electric Avenue or whatever it is.
I mean, I feel like it's just a good premise for a TV show. Like if they could do it right, if they have a good CGI budget.
Yeah.
I mean, you essentially got Mad Max style vehicular combat, right?
Yeah.
In a world where
wacky
like
characters.
yeah, that nothing else matters. You have weird characters driving weird cars, trying to kill each other to get some fucking weirdo's wishes. You know,
Yeah.
like
Until it
see how
becomes
that-
The Walking Dead and it's all about whisper. fighting.
oh my god, I will burn that.
Remember that like that old Hanna-Barbera cartoon where they do the wacky race or whatever, wacky races?
Yeah.
That's I'm like thinking of an adult version of wacky
I have
races.
no
Snipe.
idea what the fuck it
It
is.
was like
Okay.
Snidely Whiplash
Yeah.
and the Kung Fu Dog, and they had a bunch of those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and they combined them all into one.
Are you
Like,
guys secretly 15 years older than I am?
no, you
'Cause
just
that's what it feels
watched cool
No,
kid shit.
I had
growing
like
up.
I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and they were like they would see like a newfangled thing, as they would say, and they'd be like, "Here, you watch this stereotypical Mexican mouse."
Watch these racist
Yep.
stereotypes.
Yes, watch these. These are better for you.
I still don't understand why.
See
Speedy
wacky races,
Gonzalez
homie. You've
is-
seen fucking wacky races.
Is Speedy Gonzalez really that bad?
And that website is just
I mean,
fucking
With his
over the top.
like heavy hooded eyes, and he's always taking a siesta. I mean, it's a little.
Is he always taking naps?
Yeah, the like taking naps is a big thing.
I
when
mean, he's
not running
unemployed.
around,
He's
being
a
fast.
mouse. He
Yeah,
doesn't have a
dude,
job.
it's-
What else is he gonna do?
I mean, it's not as bad as Pepe Le Pew being all rapey.
The implication is he's unemployed because he's Mexican.
Well,
So
I mean,
it's a
all of them
little-
are unemployed. They're animals.
They're
don't do
they're
anything.
cartoon animals.
He's really unemployed.
It's
You can see the welfare check in his pocket. Like, no, what?
Yeah, little racist. Does this not strike a
I mean, I get that
remembrance
it's-
of
it's
you? You
playing
remember
off
that at
of his
all?
race.
Have you?
That guy? No.
Oh yes,
Kinda
I
vaguely.
have. I know what you're talking
With all
about.
the different weird cars. They
That was like a
had.
regular thing that they did. Or
It was
was
just
Yeah.
a show, just like any of the other Hanna-Barbera shows.
yeah,
it's like
Wacky
Speed
races.
Racer, but with Hanna Barbera characters.
yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah.
I don't remember that much about it, but that image did spark some member berries.
I'm like, yeah, I remember. But yeah, that would be like. I feel like that's going to be that. You're absolutely right. It makes for a great premise for a TV.
I mean,
no,
it
you're
can be.
absolutely right.
It can
I
be.
think it's going to be fun.
We'll see.
It's definitely like
depends on implementation.
yes, it has potential. It's not something you hear about and like, well, that's just going to be fucking terrible no matter what.
The nice upside is if
like the Lord of the Rings
they
TV series.
totally fudge the bucket, I don't give a shit. Like you can't ruin the metal or the Twisted Metal like lore.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. Like it could
if
be.
it flops, then whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's nothing sacrosanct about the fucking Twisted Metal storyline.
Exactly.
Well, as long as it recognizes itself for what it is and plays in that role, kind of like the new Mortal Kombat movie did.
I mean, the fact what Nick said the main character was, it sounds like they're clearly aware of how ludicrous it is.
Yeah.
Some kind of amnesiac milkman trying to cross the United States through
perfect.
crazy stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah. I'm
Well,
a milkman with no memory. What?
Gentlemen, I feel like we have squeezed the time berry entirely to fruition, and it is now dry and causality is broken.
Yes,
Well,
the
I
time
started
berry is
on
all out of
penis
juice.
talk. I'll end on penis talk. Have you guys ever heard someone tell you that you need to squeeze the lemon?
No.
It means to go pee. And
What?
I both love and hate it.
Squeeze.
But it was very off-putting. I was at work one time, and I needed to use the restroom, and then I was told that they can't because they're cleaning the restroom. And then when they're done cleaning the restroom, had a coworker come by and said, "You're free to squeeze the lemon." And I was like,
I think you just made it up.
It was jarring and appropriate at the same time, and like I'm still reeling from both knowing that exists and that it was spoken to me. So just thought
I don't.
No, you can go throttle the giraffe now.
I mean, I think it's. I mean, think about it. That's a really good phrase for going pee.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I guess.
You got your bladder,
And the seeds coming out of the lemon are like kidney stones.
which is appropriate for
Yeah.
me because I've had them 3 times. So
Never had a kidney stone. Had gallstones.
You got to make sure that when you're peeing, you got to pee through your fingers so you can catch all those seeds.
Yeah, you want to sieve them out.
Well, I mean, how else are you going to harvest your wiener diamonds?
How else are you going to have your pissed lemon tree grove?
Need to
Pissed lemon
squeeze the
tree
lemon and make a wiener diamond right into my hand.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
yeah,
Man, I was struggling for a title there, but Piss Lemon Tree Grove might work.
Yeah, Adam threw one out right in the beginning of chat too. With something
We just hadn't
said.
recorded yet.
torque.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I
Thank you,
said
Adam.
it roughly 3 times, but Josh wouldn't stop talking. So
What was it Josh talking about? Nobody cares because nobody was listening. We tone him out. I just have to have in our brains. We have like 30 seconds of silence while the podcast is still rolling. It's awkward.
You know, you smell different when you're awake.
Like, yeah.
implies you smell him in his sleep.
Yes.
He looks like a thumb fucked a hot dog.
That's, hey, stop stealing other people's material, homie.
I wanted to
recorded.
say that maybe a thumb fucked at kielbasa was more like relevant, but then I thought of all the preservatives in a hot dog.
Yeah. And the fact this is made out of random meats.
Yeah, it's much more appropriate for Rogan. Oh man. Mr. Torg High Five Flexington, that's his full name.
That's okay.
Herbert Camacho Carl's Jr. Deluxe.
I actually just watched Idiocracy again recently.
It's delightful.
It is. It really is.
up.
Aggravating.
You know, Camacho, somebody made a point. Camacho was actually a pretty fucking good president. He had a plan in place. This
Yeah.
weird dude came up, started fucking things over. He decided to like save the U.S. from him, and then it turns out he was right, so
Yeah.
he changed his mind, and he's like, okay, let's go the science route. It's like,
He
you know what?
literally listened to the best science of the time and would just let him run
third.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smartest man in the world. Okay.
This
Got this.
motherfucker's got some ideas.
Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho.
The third.
That man is a treasure, and I'm going to. I think I'm going to riot when he dies. But because by that time I'll be old and I
Oh
don't
my
care
God.
about going to jail.
Did I show you the
Terry
comparison
Crews is a
videos of the Trump rally introductions and then that
With
clip?
Terry
Yeah.
Crews? No, I don't think so.
So Trump has been doing rallies since he like left the office.
Okay.
And
Fun.
the way those are like introduced and set up is like almost uncannily the same way that they introduce President Camacho in
Okay.
Idiocracy. Like it's fucking
Josh.
aggravating.
Chain.
Away, but the cat came back.
Oh, I was
I
really
thought it
hoping
was
he would
gone.
do it that way, and then when he turned around, there you go. I got his pneumonia all over me.
Did you watch The Witcher on Netflix?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
I
I just rewatched The Witcher on Netflix like 2 nights ago.
So
Wait.
shut up. You know I don't watch
Shut
things.
up.
Shut up.
Go
I
back
was
to China.
about to watch it, about to get up the chutzpah to actually watch a TV show and not just play more video games. When I watched a review of the episode where they're in the town and there's that chick that wants to kill the wizard in the tower.
Yep, it's like the first episode.
Yep.
And the guy basically lays out, if I can remember in a nutshell, that so much happens that they cut out that because he had read the books or played the games, he knew what was going on, but his dad was watching with him. And there's a scene where the Witcher's like laying in the woods and he suddenly gets up and has this stroke of inspiration that this woman is going to do this thing. And he goes to stop her. And the way he described the review of this particular episode was that they had cut out so much that it seemed to him almost impossible for a first-time viewer to know why the fuck the Witcher was about to do what he was doing.
Nah.
No. So somebody somebody that hasn't read the books or played the games, it did not bother me at all. I didn't think twice about it. Geralt
Would
is
it
the
bother
Witcher.
me?
I don't think that I've read the books, I've played the games, and I saw that scene. I don't think that there's some sort of.
Did it make sense?
He literally has a whole conversation with her.
Yeah.
About their like their ethos, essentially, like who they are as people and stuff like that. At the end of it, you realize like he's like she's not giving up on this. She's gonna go back to town and kill him.
Also, they had just been together, had slept with each other out in the forest, and when he wakes up, she's gone. So I'm at the end of the day, like, oh shit, she left without saying anything. I gotta go.
Part of the problem is that not being exposed to it at all. The guy devoting a half an hour to talking about why it's a problem made it seem to me like it was a big deal.
I think it's
and
only
not having a counter opinion. I assumed, okay, if this is the way the show's going to go, I played 10 hours of Witcher 2 and 15 hours of Witcher 3 and it didn't hook me. Like, I don't know if the show's going to do any different. The show looked really fucking good, and I should probably sit down and watch it. I
honestly don't know if you'll enjoy this show or not. I can't. It's not something that, because I can watch it and realize like this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
I also don't particularly like the
you watched it, right, Josh?
The timeline that they've done in the show, because it's going to off-put people that haven't experienced any other Witcher content.
I remember telling me back when it came out that there's a lot of jumping around and not letting the viewer know in the moment that they're changing timelines.
Yeah. And it's fun. Like for me, I personally enjoy it because I know what it is that they're doing. Okay. Like I know, and they're not holding my hand through it. Yeah. Like you got to figure out watching the show, like this is what they've done. Yeah. But I think that is off-putting to people that haven't experienced any of the other Witcher content and stuff like that. So.
See, I haven't experienced a lot of Witcher content, and I found, because I think I discovered like episode 3 that they were doing different times. By like episode 3 is like,
at some point it becomes very obvious that's happening because the character.
I think it was before it was supposed to be really obvious, and I was like, oh my god, these are different timelines. Sure. And like I got a whole aha moment, and I actually got reinvested in the show because I didn't find that off-putting. I was like, oh shit, because a lot of times I find when I don't watch the best TV. I watch reliable TV. It's fine.
This is accurate. I've judged him many times for his choice in TV shows.
But like even like with new stuff, shit I've never seen, I'll be sitting there, and Michael will be sitting there, and I'll be like, and then I'll just say the next line.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, now this is going to happen, and then this, and it'll wind up like this.
It's formulaic.
And it just, and so the whole fact that I had one pulled over on me, I was like, oh shit, they fucking got one by me. I reinvested.
Sure. My main takeaway from that is that, one, if you haven't watched The Witcher, I recommend giving it a try. It's fantasy stuff, so I think you'll enjoy it. But even if you don't like The Witcher TV show, completely separately, I would recommend the animated Nightmare of the Wolf.
The new one.
It just came out on Netflix a little bit ago and stuff. And even without watching The Witcher and stuff, it's well animated. It's a very fun thing. And they also actually do a lot to explain, I think, the Witchers and stuff more clearly and coherently than you get from like the other.
Isn't it weird how the effluvia offshoots of these franchises? I think Star Wars Commando or the Clone Wars. I think the Matrix mini episodes. There's always seems to be these offshoot media formats that like sometimes do such an amazing job. It's like, why didn't this happen in the main format of the thing? You know.
It's you literally have a difference in how it's created. Yeah. I mean, you look at the Star Wars movies and stuff, and they are legitimately developed by like a committee of people. Yeah. And all of them have different goals in mind that they're trying to achieve, and not all of them are like, I'd say almost very few of them are probably like, we're trying to make a good movie, or tell a good story. It's just like, how can we incorporate these things into this movie?
Fan service.
Yeah, to maximize the audience, the viewership, and the money that we can make off of it. When you have a branch off something, you're clearly going to have a lot more free reign, a smaller development team that are making like their own little niche thing. There's not as much investment on how well that does, so they can focus on like, let's make a really cool thing.
Mm-hmm. I feel like the biggest point there is the committee, movie by committee thing.
Yeah,
like the terrible. Star Wars, like especially the Clone Wars and anything animated, that's all been Dave Filoni. Like he is like he gets notes from like fucking George Lucas.
He is the philosopher king of
But like when the day comes, Filoni shows up in his cowboy hat and says, "Hey, y'all, this is what we fucking doing today," and
he's responsible for most of the animated Star Wars stuff.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
Good to know.
And now him and of course Favreau are playing a big part in the new Star Wars,
right? Which is also
which is just honestly, Favreau has just been a breath of fresh air into Star Wars for me.
I mean, of course, yeah, but it's also it's a good example of what Nick was saying initially. When you can step away from the limelight of the primary Star Wars story, it opens up so many avenues to just make good media.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rogue One, I'm not going to count in the Han Solo movie because there's too much expectation because you're tying in such an intimate character.
It's Han Solo.
But we definitely put like Mandalorian in the mix. I'm really hoping the Obi-Wan show is going to be good.
I feel like the Obi-Wan show is going to be a real tester.
Sorry, real quick, interject before I forget. The people who are doing the remaster of KOTOR have been remastering games since 1998, amongst which they've already remastered KOTOR for iOS, and they've remastered like 15 other Star Wars games.
So now, are those ports or...
yeah, they're all ports. This company just does ports. They remaster a game and port them from older things to newer things. So at the very least, we're in
port's
good
not
hands.
quite a remaster, homie.
That's very true.
They're different, but they can be the same. You could port to a new thing and remaster at the same time. But just looking at their resume, they
Night, Adam.
Good night, sir.
Done a lot. Is there anybody left? Are we talking to ourselves?
So Naughty should still be here, I believe. But I think that's it. I think
Naughty, way to stick
I think
it
now
out.
we're talking to ourselves for the
True
most part.
fan.
I love talking to ourselves, so that's why we started this.
I'm that's true.
I interrupted you.
No, that might be the last person.
You were talking about
Talking about Obi-Wan, hoping it's...
Obi-Wan, I feel Obi-Wan's going to be the real hurdle because that's a...
his main franchise character.
Main franchise character.
Yeah.
Now, so like... I don't know. As far as like fans go, Boba Fett is a huge character as well, and like getting into Legends and all that shit too. A big character. I didn't feel the same kind of problems as Boba Fett as I did with the Han Solo movie.
It's because he's not in the main franchise. Like
he's fair enough. I just feel he's
until the prequels, in which case he's a kid. So.
Yeah. But he's a main franchise character, and not only that, we're also getting Hayden Christensen back as Darth Vader.
Doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. He's always going to be in the Vader suit. It doesn't matter.
That's going to be a real hurdle.
It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No. I just mean the show itself. Like this is going to be like, do they have a good handle on
you're
Star
saying
Wars?
that Hayden Christensen is going to be playing Vader in the Obi-Wan series.
Yes.
Which implies that Vader's going to feature
in the
fairly
series.
Prominently.
At least at some point in the series.
That's really interesting. I'll actually be really... like. I would love to see... like that scene at the end of Rogue One when Vader boards the princess's ship has made me realize something that I didn't know I needed in my life. And it's Vader in his like... prime years
murder
after he's a murder robot, and so Obi-Wan could give me that something that's really going to lock in the terror that is.
There's
Vader.
Also another thing in the first movie, in New Hope, where Vader says Obi-Wan, he's been dead for some time, where there's no way he could actually know if Obi-Wan's dead or not unless they had another showdown, right? Because the last showdown they have, Obi-Wan left him as fried chicken on the fucking side of the thing there.
Yeah, you would assume that if Vader had Obi-Wan is still alive, he would fucking hunt him down. Yeah.
So there has to be a confrontation of some sort where Vader leaves thinking fucking Obi-Wan is dead.
Yeah. Interesting. It's an interesting concept.
So something I have watched and read about over the last 10, or however long it's been since the prequels, is that if you take a look back at Christensen's portrayal of Darth Vader and you take it in context and you assume that acting quality aside, what kind of Vader did Christensen portray? He actually did a really fucking good job portraying
Jealous.
a child who is dealing with issues
Attachment
that
issues.
Vader dealt with, to the point where I learned that it is common, like really common across psychology classrooms and colleges today. They use Darth Vader as a character to study for abandonment and attachment and anger issues. Like Christensen's acting aside, like the way he portrays Vader is super perfectly stereotypical how those mental problems exist in a person.
I mean, and then you got to add in the whole being raised with a Messiah complex.
Exactly. All that stuff boils into a really fucking interesting character.
Yeah. And then you have the creepy uncle that's constantly trying to actively corrupt you.
Yeah. And that's why, that's the one thing, like, I get my perfect Star Wars thing. I want to see, like you were talking about, that middle prime age of, to me, Darth Vader, you know, he's anger embodied, right? Anger and fear. Yeah. And that scene of him in Rogue One is a physical manifestation of his anger. Like, it's just raw violence.
Yeah. And we didn't get you look at the two scenes of, like, when Vader was told that Padme died and his children died, versus that scene where he's boarding the thing. The first one, which is what we got originally at the end of the first prequel trilogy, doesn't quite set your mind up for what Vader's going to do to the galaxy.
No, it just portrays immediate loss. It doesn't portray the anger that he's going to.
But that boarding scene does, because now you can say, like, this is literally what Vader's been doing. He's been brought back to life by modern technology and kept alive with a full knowledge that his fucking wife and kids are dead, and now he's going to take out his anger on every single person that he can in the galaxy.
Have you guys read
literally hunting down every last known Jedi is like his fucking plan.
Have you guys read the Vader comics?
No, I don't read comic books. I'm not a child. No, I'm kidding.
I'm also reading the Boys right now.
Oh, cool. The comics. So you get a bunch of spoilers for the next season starts. Fun.
Well, I'm reading the first. Well, I mean, volume 1 anyway.
I would read more comics if I had the time to download the comic book files for them.
The Vader comics, dude, I suggest reading them. I think you would really fucking dig them, because it goes through Vader getting his fucking lightsaber. Like, he fights this crazy fucking Jedi. Like, I mean,
I understand. Like, I would probably, very much be keen.
You would dig them, and it's only like 25 issues. Yeah. So it's relatively short. I did it in an evening. Yeah. So
I mean, at the end of the day, as much as I've grown kind of disenfranchised with a lot of what Star Wars has done and become and stuff, there's always going to be the core of my heart, which is I'm a Star Wars fanboy. It was literally what my nerddom was growing up. I used to just watch the VHS tapes on repeat all the time. I had a little TV with a VCR built into it, and literally, like, there was always just a Star Wars in there that I would just turn on and watch. And
I thought about it at times. I pictured little Russ stuck in Southeast Washington around a bunch of non-nerds. Yeah. You had that was your escape, your nerdverse, right? And
I hadn't discovered fantasy yet, and I hadn't discovered a lot of good sci-fi books yet. Yeah. All I had was Star Wars.
Josh and I were talking. He met a chick who was like as surprised as Josh was to find out that they both like nerdy things. And I was explaining to him the concept of a nerd desert. Some people grow up not knowing they're geeks or nerds because no one in their life or their ideology or their culture experiences any of that. So they get exposed to like Harry Potter or Marvel or Star Wars, and that's all the nerddom they know, and they love it. And then they meet somebody who's like, yeah, like, where have you been for the last 20 years? They're like, there's more of this? I get to, well, what do you mean Star Trek? Yeah. And it's always good to see somebody break out of that and be like, no, you're accepted. It's okay to get angry about the color of a lightsaber. We're all friends here.
I think it was fun about growing up with Josh was seeing how he almost like he got introduced to the nerd world and then resisted the acceptance of the nerd world for a long time.
There was a period in our late 20s where he ran away from it. And then
he was like, came back. I like football and wrestling and rough house with the boys.
Do you remember
and
that?
Slowly,
there was a couple years there where you like pretty much didn't hang out with us, and then
it's like, well, I mean, it's doing drugs with Rob, so
that's fair. Drugs will do that.
And eventually realized you could do both.
Yes.
We still have a thing to do.
Okay.
We got to record the intro.
I need to pee and I would like to smoke.
Yeah.
Well, let's record the intro, homie. Don't be a
Well, you guys got to have a thing.
bitch.
What's your thing? Say it right now.
I'm Andrew Henselman, and the pandemic was rough.
This is Jackass.
Welcome to Jackass.
But no, I gotta go squeeze that fucking one. What's the format for the intro again?
Format for the intro is clockwise. Well, do we do clockwise? No, we're gonna go down the line.
Okay.
Just that makes sense here.
My name's
So
Russ.
yeah, so I'm gonna do intro. So tonight we discuss P-balls, how we hang our lemons, upcoming releases, Big Trouble in Big China, some of our more serious horse problems, remakes, remasters, and what really grinds our gears. Nick says, "Hi, I'm Nick. Funny thing." Josh, "Hi, I'm Josh. Funny thing." Russ, "Hi, I'm Russ. Funny thing." My name's Andy. Welcome to Video Game Tango.
Stop fucking spying in my court, you slut.
Because I was definitely just going to say whatever you had written down.
It's been done before. I'm on to this.
Hi, I'm Russ, and you ruined everything.
Yeah.
Leaning over your fucking shoulder.
Why would you tell him, dude? Come on.
Well, he knows.
He was watching.
He already caught you.
Hi, I'm Russ, and I wear a wetsuit to debarnacle horses.
And then he has to say
You're wrong. That's not why you wear a wetsuit, Josh.
To avoid the horse quills.
That's accurate. If you say that, I will fucking murder you. Write something else down.
It's a shame we're going down the
Write
line.
something else down.
I'm going to do mine off the cuff.
Are you? So I'm going to have to read that again when inevitably you're like,
I want it to be about butt chuckling.
Fuck. I've been thinking about this all day.
Yeah.
Every smoke break today is like, what's going to be my quip?
Yeah.
I want all of them to be about horses. in horse houses where you get laid.
Okay. Sex related. I got one.
You want to write it down?
No.
Okay.
So we started up, you read the quip, and then it starts at me, and I go down the line.
Starts at Nick, goes to the right.
I think
Nick,
it should
Josh,
start with me because Josh is going to try to steal my shit.
That's not true.
Josh, you have your own thing.
Yes.
Say it to me now.
Hi, I'm Josh, and something about horse quills.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm about horse quills.
I thought the Andrew thing was funny, but I mean, it might actually confuse people.
It is funny, but it will confuse people. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
so-
need to know you're Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh, and I'm two ponies and a pandemic stuffed into a trench coat. I don't know.
I mean, wearing your wetsuit on the horse was pretty good.
That's mine.
That's-
He stole it
that's
from me.
Russ's.
That's why it's good.
Oh shit! Do something.
I will.
I'm prepared.
To have your thing.
I'm going before them.
Yeah, we're just gonna go down the line.
I get to go before Russ, and that's all that's important. I'd write down a second one, homie. I mean, like, maybe I'll like that one better, and you can have the first one.
Josh,
Yeah.
Okay, Josh, I want you
Have
to say,
one.
my name is Josh, and I get my chuckles in the horse house.
Chuggles.
I get my chuckles in the horse
I
house.
don't know. We talked about this. I'm a chuckler, not a chuckler.
Then get your chuckles in a horse house.
Okay, fine. In a horse house?
Yes, the horse house.
Yeah.
I don't. A horse house. Okay.
Do you not remember us talking about the horse house?
I do remember talking about the horse house.
I gave you a second one.
Okay, but if you like that one so much, maybe you do that one, and I'll do the first one.
I watched Josh getting his chuggles in a horse house.
Okay, I got it. Yep.
You got it?
I got it.
You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we ready to do this?
Yeah.
We got noise floor. Tonight, we discuss P-balls, how we hang our lemons, upcoming releases, Big Trouble in Big China, some of our more serious horse problems, remakes, remasters, and what really grinds our gears.
Hi, I'm Nick, and I'll bet money Josh is going to steal Russ's quip.
Hi, I'm Josh, and I've chuggled in a horse house.
My name's Russ, and I wear a wetsuit to avoid the horse quills.
And I'm Andy. Thanks for watching Video Game Tango.
I really should have stolen it. You couldn't have stopped it.
You would have owed me money.
Dude,
I know, but
Some
like,
unidentified amount.
there's
I'm going to
but
steal
no
it and you
more than
can't
$8.
stop me is good.
what is that thing where we're going to
Plagiarism.
play a fucking board game? And then fucking Justin sent me that text. He's like, "Oh, I bet something, another blah blah blah."
Oh,
Josh
God,
was-
that was great.
and
What
like
was it?
he said something to like him. Was like, "Oh, I bet Josh isn't even gonna fucking show up or some shit like that."
Oh, that night we were
Yeah.
going to play board games?
No, this is a different time.
Okay.
Like and like fucking showed up. And it was like the first thing I said when I was walking. It was like, "Oh, it's too bad you didn't." It was like, "Too bad we didn't bet money on it, motherfucker." Some shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And he's like, and then Russ was like, "See, I told you the first thing he's gonna say when he comes in is about that fucking text." I am predictable. Sometimes.
If we can't get you to come out of like commitment, we can get you to come out of spite. Like that's our last ditch resort.
Yes.
Is we reverse psychology you. And
I
you're
will.
like,
I will
those fuckers don't think I'm going to show up. Well, fuck them.
I'll show them. No, my whole thing is I like to be asked to dance.
And then Josh shows up. Okay,
wanna-
I got out of bed for those
You know?
guys. Okay, you
I
know,
want to be,
You know?
I want you to, I want a little bit of that, you know.
a bit of that.
Yeah.
If
I
you
like to
had
feel
get a
wanted.
tramp stamp.
It's going to be a Death Star. I've actually given this some thought. I want
Would
it
it
to
just
be,
be the trench run?
no, it's going to be the full Death Star, like right above the crack.
Where's
and
the
then,
gun pointing?
And then I want in some sort of Star Wars language, maybe the Sith language,
Or
that says
Aurebesh.
that's no moon.
Okay. Okay. That's pretty good.
That is good.
Yeah. Guess what? The only time people are going to get to see that is when they get to see a moon right underneath it.
Or every time you
Pretty
bend
good.
over.
Yeah.
I love that you've given this thought.
Oh, I did.
It was like,
Well,
random idea. Josh is prepared.
I want it to be on your actual butt cheeks.
I really wanted it on the butt
So
cheek.
one cheek says that's with an N. Your butthole's the O. Space station where that's no moon is on the other side. So it's like you just
Yeah. I once fucked around with this gal that had W's tattooed on either side of her thigh.
I almost just said, wow.
Yeah, that's what it said.
Wow.
Wow.
Little did you know you were supposed to read it upside down. It just says mom.
You have to set the M for Wumbo.
That's when we're 69 and homie.
Church.
That's not how you become moms.
It is if you do it well enough.
Say goodnight to chat.
Good night,
Oh,
chat.
hey, chat. You have a wonderful evening.
Chat.
Sorry for vaping in your earballs.
Good luck tomorrow. You'll need it.
Yes.
True.